Yeah, I saw that. I remember you saying that because she was sick.
Ashley, thanks for coming on.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, remember that time I cornered you at GaryCon?
Do elaborate. I want to hear about that.
I like cornered poor Ashley, and I'm just like, "Hey, you're a woman in gaming."
Awesome.
Yeah, she was like, "Come over here." I'm like, "Okay, I just met
I
you."
see you on streams all the time, and I was like, "Oh no, we're your friends."
By the way,
now.
keep on talking. You know I talk over the ads. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's my shtick. So.
But I was like so excited to meet you, and I was like, I see you on streams all the time. I like your vibe so much. Like, I'm like the weird girl across the bar who's like, I'm really into your vibe. And I was like so stoked to meet you, and I was like, let me just talk at you for 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes.
I loved it.
Good.
I'm actually an introvert, which people are like, but you're on a stream. And I'm like, yeah, I'm playing games with my friends.
I'm sitting in a room alone while I'm on the stream. You guys know this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
It's like when I say that to people and they're like, but you're a bartender. I'm like, yes, but I have the bar and no one's allowed to cross my sacred barrier.
That's very true. It's very, very true.
What's up, new Tim? Good to see you. We have so many Tims. So some call me Tim is not the ever mysterious Tim, which is not Enoch Pratt Tim, which is not Tim from Stronghold D&D. Amongst Tims, so I just call him the new Tim. Good to see you.
Tims.
Too many.
New Tim is the
Some call me Tim.
some call him Tim.
Yes, that's new Tim. Look, he's got a 1 month. He's got a 1 month sword subscription. So there you go. It's awesome. All right, so here comes Anna. Guess she's making it, which is great. Hey Anna.
Hi, Anna.
Hello.
Feeling okay?
Yeah, better.
Good.
Yeah, I got double Concrete. That's kind of two conventions
Oh my
in one room
gosh.
might be, and I probably.
Barrier, and I'm gonna bring my 14-year-old son. So.
Oh, you did good. Yep.
All right, thanks. Oh, I was just telling Bones how great that Wednesday night talk show
Crossing
was.
the void.
That
Beyond
Gabbin
the
Wednesday
wall
night.
of
Oh my God, it was awesome.
Along the arc of time.
Ah, crap, wrong.
Although
See, look, I already
not
messed
about
up. Wrong troller game video. That's what you get, Chuck.
Wrong button.
Yes.
That there are dark
That's what you get for
and there
not
is
giving
light.
me to him on time.
It is too easy to say that there are two sides to every coin.
Crap. All right, let's leave it
Reality
at this
is
point.
far
What am I gonna do?
worse. For law
Hunt.
flirts with tyranny, Chaos
You okay with the
invites freedom.
topic on Wednesday, Anna?
Evil consumes all
Yeah.
it knows.
All right, good. All right.
Good.
I'm
I think
just
it was
checking.
excellent. Like
Okay.
And
tonight.
those in the
Yep.
middle,
All right. I think
they are
we're
worse,
on a roll.
for they know nothing but self. The Codex Infernum and the Codex Exaltum, two source books that bring in-depth knowledge about beings of all dispositions, from the farthest reaches of the heavens to the darkest depths of wretchedness. Both
All
of
right.
these titles
Am I good
come
here?
with full-color art.
I know I'm
new
talking to
creatures,
myself. I
new
apologize.
powers, like possession,
I think you're
and a
good here.
multitude
Yeah,
of
all right,
information.
cool.
Yeah, if we
providing
respond
lore,
back, then you
background, names, mechanics, stats, and much more. These incredible tomes
So,
are
that's
filled
Chuck's
with
voice, of
demons
course.
and angels.
I'm going to text him
and
because I
celestials,
want to hear what
unleashing
excuse
the
he has for
powers
not
of good and
lurking
evil,
at least.
law and chaos
Get on, Chuck.
on your table. The Codices Infernum and Exaltum, bringing creatures hallowed and profane into your adventure.
The best thing with Zoom
Pledge
is that
and
you can
share
mute yourself
today.
when you cough.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Troll
Or at
Lord
least
Gabe,
divert your microphone
join the
or something. So,
fray.
yeah.
So really good news. This guy, who's Jeremy Gamescape 3D, was unbelievable. Amazing stuff he brought, right?
Mhm.
For the games, especially Ed's game, was unbelievable.
That setup was really, really
Well, thank
cool.
you.
Yep.
So he and Bill the Master Craft are going to room together. So they're both coming next year.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, I already
That's
went down.
awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Finally get Bill here after all this time. So
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I'm very excited to meet Bill then.
I would love to get some of the other guys here, but there's no way Tim will come. I just don't think. I don't think some of the other ones, it's with their schedules and work schedules and stuff. So, but Bill's definitely in. So, all right. Sorry, I'm multitasking again. Listen, I'm not hitting any wrong buttons. What's going on there, Phantom? Hey, Dave. Cool. We're of course. Hey, look at this. We're 7 minutes early, or something like that.
Woohoo!
Thanks for the resub. Vamp, you just named my favorite movie of all time. A lot of people wouldn't imagine that Fight Club's my favorite movie, but it is.
Is it?
Oh yeah, I love Fight Club. It's awesome. I love Ed Norton. Ed Norton. When I found out Ed Norton was the king in the one in the Crusades.
Yeah. Oh, in Kingdom Heaven.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was. I was like, oh my god, it makes so much sense.
It's very good. Ava Green's in that. And
Yeah.
Do you know they released an audiobook of Fight Club with Ed Norton reading it, and it's
really.
freaking awesome.
Really?
To listen to
Yes, it's so because I can listen to his voice like
He's got a good
forever. He's
voice.
got a great voice.
it. He does.
I'm a Rounders guy. I love Rounders too. Him and Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
All right. Welcome as everyone's rolling in here as we go to our entry screen here, and that's another Gabbin, first official Gabbin back from GabbyCon. We did have 2 there, 2.5 if you count the Sunday morning thing we did, but so I am really looking forward to this discussion. It's Women's Month, correct?
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
the last
Perfect
day of Women's History Month.
Perfect time.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect time. I'm going to start the giveaway up now, and please note, you want to be a subscriber because I gave a lot of extra tickets for subscribers on this one. So sorry, but like the subs, this is it's cool. It's cool. So I pumped up the subscribers. That doesn't mean you can't win if you're not a subscriber. So all right. Plus, I may do a couple others beyond that, depending on how dream wise. The Iron the Tyrant, like I said, from Gary Khan. Because what am I going to do at it? Just stare at it? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. All right. AD&D Proud, thanks. Oh, you got that from Extort. Really, thanks for extending that gift sub. Appreciate it. All right, coming live. Look at that. 5 minutes early, too. Already got a hype, I think. Yep. Wow. Already hyped. All right. All righty. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a really fun and special Gabbin, our 16th DM's Roundtable discussion, if you can believe it, on the channel. It's nuts. with me as my co-host, as always. Recovering. You feeling okay, Anna?
Yes, exactly. Not as always, but almost always. I think I've missed like 3 or 4 the past, what is it, like 4 years.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. And when you missed Legends and Lore Wednesday night, I was like, oh my gosh, she must be
Well,
really,
it was
really ill.
I was concrud. I fumbled my 2 saving con saves for 2 conventions, and that was a bit too much. I felt great the whole convention, the whole way home, and then 6 hours after I came home, I got fever and coughing
Oh my
and
gosh.
all the shebang, so to speak. Everything hit me once, and I've been ill for a week now. But I'm on the mend, so I'm better.
Well,
Yep.
Anna, it's a pleasure to have you here for this great
Thank you.
discussion. So let's introduce everyone. Go around. We'll go clockwise, and then we'll get into the questions. Please, at any point in our discussion, if you all have questions for the rest of the panel, please, I appreciate it. Also, the audience, I'll tell you when we'll go through the first hour, and then we'll take questions from the audience if you don't mind. Okay, but we want to celebrate everyone here. So everyone in the community, and hopefully, I think we're all trending in the right direction. So let's, as far as moving forward with Greyhawk and D&D and everyone being more successful. So Bones, take it away.
Hi, it's me. I'm Little Bones 309. I'm an indie gamer here on Twitch. That's what I do over on my channel, but I play TTRPGs with my pals on a bunch of these different channels. And now I have sunk my claws into 2 wonderful individuals here on letting me run games on their channel where I just make people experience all of my nightmarish thoughts. So it's really awesome to be here. And thanks, Jay.
Of course, of course. Thank you so very much. I'm really looking forward to some things in the future coming up with you, Bones, especially. But we can discuss how you got to this point, which is the journey is a part of the fun, part of the fun where it comes to the evolution of you as a game master, DM. So really excited, Darling.
Hello. Hi, I'm Darling Creepshow. I'm a resident creep on Twitch. I play TTRPGs all across the interweb with my friends. And on my channel, I primarily paint TTRPG miniatures, and you can find me everywhere as Darling Creepshow.
And Darling, thank you. I think you have the most experience out of all 4, if I recall correctly, right? As far as
Do
DMing.
I?
Longest time period.
Maybe. I don't know Minnesota Muse's experience.
Well, I mean, I've only really been a part of Guild Superior for, I think, 3 years.
I feel like you DM pretty regularly, though.
I do not. Well,
You don't?
it's
I feel like
true.
I've chimed in a couple times and you've been DMing, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So I'm DMing my second live campaign ever. The first one was a 3-shot, and now I'm on a mini campaign, which you can find on Guild Superior.
Yep.
So
Linked.
it's the Undying Sky, and it's a Spiral World mini campaign, which is pseudo horror, but
Yeah.
but more 5e, but lots of zombies and undead things.
And
Hell yeah.
welcome Minnesota Muse. Thank you. I didn't know. I should have asked you about shouting out. I'm shouting out Guild Superior, if that's okay for you every time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Actually,
cool.
I'm on the part of the production team of
Good.
Guild Superior too.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm always helping out. Love those guys.
Fantastic.
Great.
And thank you. First time ever on the channel, which is awesome.
That's true.
But not the last time. Aha. Yes, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Myriad X.
Hi, I'm Myriad. You can catch me here on twitch.tv/Myriad_X. I, like everyone else here, I'm all around the web playing TTRPGs with my friends. And on my channel, we do a whole lot of different things. We do variety gaming, art, as well as TTRPGs. And I DM. I caught the DMing bug as well. So here we are.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Feels awesome. All right, I'm gonna ask the dumb question I ask all the time. The first one, and that is, and it could be a thing, a person, place, or hey AJ, good to see you. Where did your inspiration come from to DM or GM? Who, what, where? It could be someone else. Could be a game you were playing. Who wants to pick that one up?
Creep and Myriad.
Okay.
Easy answer.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, easy answer. These are two of my very best friends who are not just wonderful to play with in a game, but are wonderful storytellers, and are excellent DMs in the way that they are fair, they're just, but they also believe in the absolute rule of cool and let me tell strange, weird stories of my own. And it's always an inspiration to play for them and with them. So that's easy. That's an easy answer.
That's an easy answer. Yes. Fantastic. Anyone else want to take that one up?
I think for me, obviously, like there's a lot of like media and stuff that has inspired like storytelling for me. But I think one of the main reasons that I wanted to DM was because in my limited time in the TTRPG space, I feel like a lot of the stories that I had been a part of were never completed. Campaigns that just died off, never finished, and I so desperately want to finish a story, a campaign, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a campaign and I'm gonna finish it, and that's like my current project, All We've Lost, that we're working on my channel. I'm just so determined to see it through to the end.
Perfect. How many sessions in are you, and how many to go?
So we are 2 seasons in, which is 12 episodes, and we have 3 seasons left, and the third
Wow.
season starts up this Saturday.
Fantastic.
So about 6 episodes each season.
Great.
I want it known. She says that we only have 3 seasons left. If I can just like weasel my way into playing like 6 more seasons of it, because it's so fucking good.
That's awesome. And don't worry, you can swear on this channel. You know that, right? Yeah. Okay. I know. I'm making a little off-color joke there. So there's no Ed here tonight, so we won't all be going on a 30-day ban. So we don't have to worry about that. Yeah. So.
Freaking heck, man.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks, AJ. I appreciate the support you hopping in there.
Hi, AJ. Feel better.
Everyone's sick, or was,
Everybody.
or is just
Yeah.
getting through.
Yep.
I got lucky. I lost my voice. That was it. So, what's up?
I think
Cindy?
our whole house dodged it.
I'm healthy
That's
as
good.
mule.
Yeah, our
I'm
whole
green.
house.
I'm built different.
That's just because you eat dirt, girl.
There's
Darling,
my
Copious
immunity.
amounts of alcohol that we drank, me and Bones.
Yeah.
I should have taken your meat, darling.
Yeah, it's
Yes, I
medicine.
missed that. Damn, that was the healing potion I missed.
It was.
I should have
It really
used.
was.
I should have had it. Yep.
So, Darling and Muse, any inspiration?
I think for me, it was just I had been playing in games for a little bit, and I was like, I could do this. I like to write stories.
Yeah.
Like, why am I not doing this?
Exactly.
And then I played in a Bleak season game, and that changed the game for me, playing for Bleak and seeing how Bleak told stories. And that was a big moment of inspiration for me in the world of DMing. And I took that and I turned around and I did Skeletons with Bones and Myriad. And that was the first time that I felt like beyond confident in a game. It was really, really truly excited to DM and tell a story. So there's Blake. Folk and Myth is here.
It's awesome.
So he was a huge inspiration for
Mhm.
me in the world of DMing for sure.
I take a lot of inspiration from the way that Bleak tells stories and in the way that I DM. So I fully agree with that.
That's fantastic. I mean, sometimes, and then you meet the right person and you become, friends, and then you're like, wow, this is the style and this, theatrical way of telling stories or whatever, and you just run with it, and then you tweak it a little bit. Because, as I've said, no two DMs are identical, which is the great thing about this game. That's why I love the game so much. Everyone's style is a little bit, just a hair differently, maybe.
Yeah.
So, Ashley, what do you think? I'm sorry, I only said that because your name's up on your.
No, it's all right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You can call me Ashley. You can call me
Okay,
Minnesota
okay,
Muse.
all right.
Okay, yeah, I've got the fangirl one. I watched Critical Role.
Okay.
So I was in a 3.5 campaign for 9 years.
Wow.
And my DM was a voice actor, and all of our players were actors, and they could do voices, but nobody did it like they did it.
Right.
And I'm like, I've been playing D&D wrong for 9 years. I mean, not that you can play it wrong, but I felt like I've been playing this wrong. And then I was like, well, you know, what's the likelihood I'm going to get on one of those big shows with all of these cool actors? Like, you have to make your own. So make your own opportunity, make your own story. If that DM isn't there for you, be that DM. And that's kind of how my games got started.
Fantastic. That's a great point too. Um, right place, right time. Sometimes you meet the right people, and you're on a game with a legend, you know. And then other times, make your own fate. I really love that. Anna,
Yeah.
I know you got a bunch of questions. Why don't you throw one
Well,
out there?
yeah, but first, let me just say that I'm
Yep.
the reluctant DM to start with, because in the beginning, I didn't understand anything of fantasy or the game. And this was also early days, meaning I was like 15, 16 when we started playing, and I didn't understand the game at all in the beginning. And I was just, the people just told me to roll dice, now you do this, now you do that, and didn't get any of it. And then it was out of necessity because we had a really good DM. After like a few months, we got one, and he was awesome, and we had him for 2 years, and then he disappeared. So we just said every session someone had to DM and run the game, and I've never read any fantasy or had any idea. So it was simply just taking something for the big. It's kind of funny. When I ran Tower of Gygax, that was coming back to the very first beginning. You take a room, you take a couple of monsters, you throw them at the PCs, and there you are. Meaning no story, no RP, nothing, so to speak. So I didn't like it at all at first, but after a couple of years, then or 10, 12 games, I realized I can build a story, world building. That was me. That was what got me hooked. So running games was an outlet for my world building. It was otherwise I felt I just do maps and do all this stuff for no reason whatsoever. So I don't feel like I do run games because I'm good at it. I just feel like I have to, because I sit and do all this stuff and it needs to be from some use, so to speak. So that was the main reason. Then I got to love it the more I've done it, so to speak, over the years. But I'm thinking the when you start running games and stuff, what aspects of the game do you focus extra on, or do you like the most, so to speak, when as a DM? What are the aspects? Is it the rules, creating the story, the interaction with the players, or some other aspect of the game itself, so to speak? That is the reason you come back to it and come back to running games.
The story, the storytelling aspect of it,
Yeah.
and seeing not necessarily what I'm telling, but when I ran Spaces Between, I was most excited to see how my players would interact with this very strange and horrific world I had created for them.
Yeah,
and
you
it was
give
very
them
much
these
a
little
box.
elements and they run with it,
And
and what
seeing,
comes of it.
yeah, and seeing how they dealt with that, and seeing how they dealt with it together.
Yeah.
Most importantly, and because the game I ran is very much we have to work together on this, or else we're all going to die. And I was fully expecting a TPK, because that's what the GM's manual tells you, is don't expect your players to live. And they all lived. They did awesome. Yeah, they survived. So it was it was crazy. But that was
very smart.
That was but that was just kidding. But that was my favorite part of it, was just seeing like, oh, you guys are doing this, and I didn't think that you would do this, but now you're doing this, and let me organize things mentally at this point. And that was awesome. I love that.
Okay.
I like the emotional devastation of my players.
Oh, you like to make them upset, angry,
Sounds like mine.
engaged.
I like to pull in the heartstrings. I like writing story arcs specific. I like doing character arcs. So I have like an overcompassing plot for my campaign, but a lot of the heart of the campaign comes into those character arcs specific.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
The title of my campaign is All We've Lost, which is very like it's about everything that you lose in life. Your loved ones, your career, everything. And I like putting them through the ringer emotionally. I like crafting these character arcs that will really just like make them dig deep into their characters. That's like something that I'm really passionate about.
Yeah. Do you
Awesome.
build like family relations? You introduce NPCs that they're related
Yes.
to and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and then you can hurt that
There's
NPC and you can do stuff
Mhm.
like that. Yep.
So my husband's character, his wife was sick, was the whole start of the campaign. He knew that she was sick, and throughout the entire first season, they were journeying back to where his family lived, thinking that his wife was alive still, and it turned out that she was indeed not alive, and that he was working for the government. The government was lying about it. And they sort of covered it up. And that was a
Yep.
very devastating moment for his character, coming home thinking that everything was fine and he still had time, and there was no time left.
Wow. Awesome.
I want it known she hasn't made me cry yet, so
I'm
Oh
gonna do
my
it.
God. Oh
I'm gonna
my
do it.
God.
I
And
mean,
always good
me
to
and
have
Myriad
goals.
have a very strong, we need to make Bones cry now at this
oh my
point because she
gosh, it's
brags
wrong.
about it
Uh-oh.
so much.
That's just
Don't
wrong.
worry, baby girl. It's gonna come around, bite you on the ass one day.
I
Just
just turn those-
smiling.
I just turn those emotions off. Turn them off. It's fine.
Gary Con Live coming in with a raid. Thank you very much, Garner. Let me shout you about both Gary Con Live and your channel. And by the way, so here's the giveaway from Gary Con, which I forgot to show everyone because I'm stupid like usual. So here we go. The
doing your
Eye of the
best, Jay.
Tyrant dice set
Yeah.
with the eyeballs inside. It's hard to see them on here, but there's eyeballs floating around inside the set. So,
That's so cool.
all right.
I have a mighty need.
Okay. So, exclamation point drawing. I may throw something else in there, do another giveaway or two as well. But that's what will be. That will be the main one for the first winner. So enjoy. All right. So, okay. Let's get a little dark. Not dark, but just look. I got it easy. I'm a dude, right? I got it easy. I know all the crap you have to go through sometimes, right? And I'm sorry that happens, but like, what would have been some pitfalls in the last year or whatever, or in the past with playing to get you to the point of or DMing even, if you run across any pitfalls that are challenges you've had, you know.
I'm in a really lucky position when it comes to playing games. I haven't, since I've been playing games on Twitch, and since I've been playing games in the last 3 and a half years, I have an amazing support system.
Cool.
And I know for a fact that if anybody ever makes me uncomfortable, which has happened in the last couple of years, and I would never name names, but I went to Creep and Myriad and was just like, hey. And I don't have any fear. I'm very loudmouthed and very abrasive at times, because I have an amazing support system and I know I can stand up for myself, because if they don't take me seriously, they'll take a small legion of women very seriously.
Okay, maybe it's a question, but I wanted to ask it because I know that we have different situations. I know female streamers get harassed 50 times more than a male streamer, right? So I'm just curious what pitfalls you've come across, because I'm assuming that some of them that they happen once in a blue moon. I know this community is great, right? But there's people outside the community that that sometimes have issues, and once in a blue moon, we have an incident in our community. It's human nature, unfortunately, of the worst kind. So, who else?
I think like Bones, I've been pretty lucky with DMing and being pretty insulated with my friends, and I guess I haven't really opened myself up to put myself in a position where something negative could have happened. We have communities already, strong communities behind us that, I don't really have to go too far if I want to DM a game to look. People really want to be in my games. When I ask people, it's normally a yes. So I haven't had to have that issue. I think the one time I had, I wouldn't even really call it an issue, was when I DM'd a game for my local friends, and it was some of my husband's friends, and I think at first they didn't really take it so seriously because they're like pretty like dude core, playing dude games, doing dude stuff with DMing and
Right.
D&D. And I was like, can I come DM a game for you all? And at first it's kind of like, ha, 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 ha. And then they sat at my table and they're like, oh, this is cool. When I like break out all my artwork that my husband's done for my game, and then I pull out my little speaker and I play super atmospheric music while I'm running this game, and they're like, oh wait, hold on a minute, this is kind of fucking cool. And I'm like, yeah, okay, haha, who's got the laugh now? So but yeah, I don't, with the community and playing online, I mean, you get your occasional bad egg in the chat, but that's just a ban button, so
Okay.
Yeah.
bye-bye.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just dudes being gross.
Yeah.
It's just like a thing that comes like par for the course in Twitch, which is an unfortunate sentence to say. We're all very pretty ladies, right? It happens. But again, amazing communities. That's like always my big advice to new streamers, especially women, is just like protect yourself with other people who care about you.
Yep.
Because
Yeah, my favorite's when like I've had people come into my channel and talk shit or like say something, and I don't even gotta ban them because the community will run them out of
Nope.
the chat before
Nope.
I ban them.
oh yeah,
Very
Yeah.
oh yeah,
It's
They're
awesome.
small legion of terrifying women.
Okay.
Moderators are also a wonderful, wonderful thing.
True.
Yes, yes.
True.
We've got a small group of volunteer mods over at Guild Superior, and they're wonderful, and we love them. They'll ban people right away if they start saying things that are inappropriate or trying to hurt people's feelings.
Good to hear. Always need a support group behind you all the time. So that's fantastic. What so Myriad, anything? It's been okay for you?
It honestly, I think in the same way that what Creep said, where I have been in a very insulated community.
Okay.
I've had people reach out to me, be like, "Hey, do you want to play in this game?" And I've said no a lot of the times because it's been at a table where like I don't know anyone.
Right.
I'm always very, very hesitant to ever be at a table where I don't know anyone, and especially at a table where I might be the only female there. So if I've said no in the past, it's because I feel like I would be uncomfortable at that table. And I think that I am much more prone to saying yes to people. Like if Creep comes to me and is like, hey, do you want to play at this table? Because I trust Creep. I trust people that Creep picks for her tables. Same for Bones, same for UJ. Like I know that you guys would never put me in a situation where I would be uncomfortable.
Fantastic. And we can't, there is playful banter. Like when you all get together with Ed and have at it, I mean, the sky's the limit, right? So, but that's we all know the playful. So I'll say this: I understand that completely. Real quick, until coming up in the 2 weeks, the only two people I've ever DM'd on my channel has been myself and Tim, because I'm not paranoid as to bringing in someone on the outside and not worrying about those issues. So I understand that too, 100%. You got to insulate yourself, and you got to trust people. But now we've all been together for a few years, and we all trust each other, right? So that's the great thing about the building the community up. Mm-hmm. So Anna, what do you got?
Well, I was thinking, do you like to run short one shots or long-term campaign arcs with deep lore, deep kind of long stories, or do you want to have like quick action and it should be over with and then come new fresh players and new story, or should campaigns be long and dwelling on things, so to speak? Which aspect of it is short action filled or long, broody and kind of deep stories that takes forever to evolve? Which is both, for me, both have an allure, so to speak. It depends on where I've been in my DM career, which one I like, so to speak. And I've gone through both ends of the rabbit hole, so to speak. But which one do you guys prefer to run?
I think I prefer short mini series. I've run a couple of mini series and a couple of one shots.
Yeah.
And I think that's because I have I have a need to just sink my teeth into a lot of different systems and a lot of different settings, and being able to run mini series and things like that allows me to do that. That being said, I do really like the emotional depth that you can get by doing a bit of a longer campaign.
Yeah.
But I think my bandwidth for long campaigns has shortened because I've been a part of so many long campaigns in the past, that I can only really focus on like one from a GM perspective, being
Yeah.
in one long campaign.
Yeah.
So the little bite-sized series that I get kind of fill that space for me.
Is it still important to set up a kind of a cool backstory, and even if it's a short campaign, to still work on having an elaborate story and kind of work that in as well?
I think that it depends on your players. I think that a
point.
lot of the
Yep.
times, like the games that I've run, my players do a lot of the heavy lifting because they're such wonderful RPers, and they come up with these such rich characters that I can kind of sit back and just let them do their thing, and they give me stuff to feed on in that capacity.
That's an interesting point. I mean, how do you do when the player come with an awesome backstory that is awesome, but that will kind of sidetrack your plot line, or screw up things, or be really hard to implement? Do you try to tweak it? Do you try to say, well, I need to change things, or do you simply say, nah, not for this campaign? Or how would that go in? Or have you had that situation?
I've had situations where people have come to me with characters that I'm like, this is a really good concept, but let's do it this way instead, and just to make it more cohesive into the storyline. And a lot of the times my players are very, like, I'm very lucky with my players. Like, they're amazing and very they're just like, yeah, do whatever you have to do to make it work and make it like something that's gonna be like enthralling. So
Yeah, because that's a hard part. You have to step on their toes a little bit when they do creative work, but still, in order for hopefully for the campaign's good, so to speak, overall.
Yeah, I think we all understand that this is a collaborative effort.
Yeah,
and the collaboration is key, and being able to just collaborate in that capacity is very important to making a story that everyone is happy with.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome when a player comes to you with a lot of backstory, because one thing that I learned from Bleak when talking to him about his DMing style is sometimes your players will write your story for you.
Yep.
And you let them give you these big backstories, and then it takes you to places you don't think you would have gone, or you wouldn't have known to go because you didn't have that before. And yeah, I've definitely had, if you ever want someone to write you a novel, invite Miria to your game, because she will send you a novel of a character. I'm like, oh, awesome. This is going all into the story, and finding a way to work that in and work it into your story. And sometimes it'll lead to a totally different story than what you initially planned, but it's fun. And it's your character, your players feel so much more involved with the story itself. And I love that. Yes. If you're in one of my games, please write lots to me. It's my love language.
And it's a good material that you can use, meaning we talked about before, using NPCs to kind of thwart the players. If the players provide that in their backstories, awesome. That's ammunition you can use for
so much
stories.
ammunition.
Yeah, so you can meaning you need a number of disposable NPCs, whether you run a really deadly campaign or not, but some NPCs need to be sacrificed for the greater good of the story, so to speak. So if you can
everyone.
No, well, no, I didn't
Chop,
manage
chop.
to kill your character.
Hey, I said I wouldn't talk about it again from Karen Con.
Oh, that must be really hard for you.
What do you think? This
He's
guy.
doing his best.
That was fun.
I'm doing my best to be humble.
That was
I
fun.
mean, my gosh.
That was fun. Yep.
So great.
That's
one.
okay. I'm with you, Anna. I love killing characters.
Well,
I like the drama. I like sad. I like tragedy. That feeds story for me. So
But the thing is
trauma.
Yeah, but the thing is, it needs to be part of the story. If you just have an NPC that vanishes, even if in a gruesome way mechanically, it needs to be important for the story first. So you need to weave in a lot of
violence.
Exactly, the character. The players need to have interacted with it, and it needs to mean something. And it's really cool if the players instill it. Meaning, my players in my campaign, they invented parents, uncles, tentacles, ants, and whatever, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is awesome. I got a whole menagerie of NPCs I can abuse and get hard to in this story, and I did over time, and only half of them they know yet, so to speak. So
Every
yeah,
story needs conflict to
Yeah.
drive interest. And if you
Yep.
don't have conflict, then what are you doing? Because we do not live in happy rainbows and puppy dogs land. I'm sorry. It would get boring after a while. We need a little conflict. And
Mhm.
sometimes people need to die for that conflict.
Yeah.
It's just
So
what
I-
it is.
So darling, it's okay if I kill your dog.
No, you can't. That's a dog. That's different. He's not a people. He's a dog. And he's my child.
He's just a boy.
Just wait till the wedding. That's all I gotta say.
Ooh.
Are we
Come
having
on.
a red wedding? What's happening?
Come on, I'm doing my normal mind games. I even have the emote for it, the mind games emote. So. As soon as Eric Marna gets back from Hawaii and I set a date with Eric that Eric can do it, then we'll move forward with that. So we just gotta figure
Hell
out.
yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. I want to see. Did any of you have a question for the rest of the panel at this time? If not, I'll ask something else. It's okay if you don't.
What's your favorite system to DM?
No, that's the question. Great
Good
question.
question.
What's your wheelhouse? Style, VTT, theater of the mind, 5e, then game system, all right, and then like the nuance of it. Those three things. Let's see. Great question, Bones.
I'm very smart like that.
Bones, start it off then.
Okay. Indie RPGs, because it's my thing. Theater of the mind, because I am not tech savvy enough to deal with a VTT. That's too hard. And my style is best probably described, and maybe Creep and Myriad will agree with me because they played my game, is chaos trauma bonding.
Ooh.
Okay.
I run this game as a way for me to express all of the horrible nightmares that I have. That's a thing that I have IRL is nightmares. So I just write them all down, and then I made all my friends play through them, and made them experience all that in real time. And that is my style, I think, for sure, is just
Cool.
being chaotic and making my characters trauma bond.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to take that up next?
I like rules light systems. I think one of my favorite systems that I've played in was the Blade Runner system. I know that that's like I can't remember whose that system is, but that system is really fun. I like the idea of it. It's very simple. At least it gives you a lot of room to breathe. Because I like role play driven stories. I like games that are very like story driven, very role play driven, and not necessarily like constant battles and strategy, which is fun to do here and there, but that's not what I like to run because I hate math. Me and math are not friends. And then definitely I like the horror suspense vibe. That's where I sit on things. I think everyone could have guessed that maybe. What was the other thing?
Theater of the mind mostly.
Oh, theater of the mind. I
Okay.
like big descriptors, and I
Okay.
like to sit at a table, theater of the mind with physical dice, even if we're all like on a screen like this. I prefer physical dice, theater of the mind. That's my vibe
Very
for
cool.
sure.
No right or wrong way, which is a great thing. So, what's up there, Yoav? Good to see you from Gary. I know you were
Hello.
he was really sick too, Anna, just sick as you were. Yep.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
I need to get back to him. Yeah.
Myriad and Ashley, what do we get? You two left here. So.
I'm gonna let Muse go first.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so I like tools, and there's so many cool tools you can use online now, like Roll20 for VTTs, and D&D Beyond has that beautiful encounter builder now, so you can watch your players' hit points go down and go, oop, maybe I'm hitting this one person too hard. I should move to another person. Just good things that help you do a lot of the math for you, so that you can focus on storytelling.
5e mostly.
Mostly 5e, and again, it's largely because the tools are there.
Okay.
5e is
Yep.
very accessible. Is the thing. That's why it's so popular.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, I love Theater of the Mind. However, when it comes to combat, I like having maps just because I don't like having the back and forth of, well, how far am I away from this person? But okay, but what about this person? Could I hit them with this? I hate that. That drives me fucking crazy. So I do like having a maps for combat, but otherwise I like having just really good descriptions written out for certain settings and areas. And while my main campaign is 5e, I just recently ran Alien RPG from Free League. I'm so in love with that system and that game and that setting and just how brutal it is. Just I knocked like 2 of my players out in the last episode with just skull crushes. I was like, sorry guys,
Look at
you're
that
out.
glee.
What?
Awesome. So varied, but with the tools that you have at your hands, right?
Mhm.
So that's awesome. Thanks, Bones. That was a great question.
I'm very smart that way.
I'm gonna ask the fanboy fangirl question. If you could if you could DM for anyone in the world, living or dead, who would you do and why? For me, I wish I could have DM for Gary Gygax, but I can't. Right? It's the next best thing. Or Leonard before Leonard passed.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Leonard was a pain in the ass, right, Anna? Right? You know, and complained about everything. But I wish I would have been able to DM for either one of those. So
That's a really hard one. Because I would
yeah,
love to DM for Mike Pondsmith
there
because
you
he
go.
is my all-time favorite TTRPG creator. But I would also probably be shitting my pants the whole time. So I don't know. Because I met him at GaryCon
Yeah.
and I normally am not like a fangirl person. And Kurt can attest to this. I literally forgot my name when I walked up to him. I went, "Hi,
See, that's a great answer.
I'm Creep." And then he was like, and I think I said something like, "I love you."
He probably looks like that.
See, there you
And
go.
thankfully Kurt was standing right next to me and Kurt was like, can she have a picture with you? Like, Kurt was just basically my handler because I just
Yeah.
Darling Creepshow's not here anymore, Mrs. Torrance. Like, just left my body for a minute.
There's
So
no
yeah, I would love to DM for him, but I don't know if I could.
why not? There's no reason you can't. I'm gonna throw it back. Who would have ever thought I DM for Ed Greenwood every 2 months, right? Who would
It's so
you would have
awesome.
never, when I was a kid, in a million years thought that would be the possibility. So you find a way to reach out to him and you ask, right? That's it.
Mhm.
That's it. You
True.
say, Gary Con, can you give me a 3-hour window, even if it's off hours, and I'd love to run a game for you. Just ask him.
Yeah.
Seriously, I bet you he says yes.
I bet you he would. And I don't know if you know this or not, Creep, but you are a
Yeah.
great DM. So
Yeah, I
and
bet
you
you. I
love
bet you.
cyberpunk. So
Yeah,
and it shows.
I really think he would. I think if he's that nice a guy, I don't think he'd have any problem DMing for him. Like, yeah,
You guys are very sweet and kind.
no problem. What's everyone else's?
Gonna lead Mulligan from Dimension 20, so I
Okay.
can run him through Chaos
Emily
Zone.
Mulligan.
Yeah.
Emily Axford.
Oh
from
God,
Dimension 20.
yes.
Okay.
I love
They're
her.
kind of a dream team.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So God, what I would do if I can run them through some chaos.
Excellent. But Ashley, what do you think? Mercer?
Yeah, a combination of pretty much anybody from Dimension 20 or Critical Role.
Okay.
I love all of those actors so much.
So we're gonna
cool.
take some audience
Yeah.
questions. That's a great one, Dave. I'm holding it. All right. So here's what I want to ask. Next one. What do you want to accomplish this year? 2024. What is your goals? Be honest. Shoot for the stars.
Run more games for my friends.
Okay.
Get my grubby little hands on as many indie RPGs as I possibly can. And just start writing as much as I possibly can so I can have stuff in the future that I can just run off the cuff, either on stream or off stream.
One of your goals isn't to kill me in a couple weeks.
No, well, that's not a goal or a dream, perhaps. That's
Okay.
just sort of the inevitable.
Oh, thanks.
She's coming for you.
Listen, Creep and I said it Uzi last night. He has no idea what he's getting himself into.
I think I said to you specifically, Bones, does Jay know what's going to happen to him?
I can't beat anything worse than Tim has ever done to me. All right. I mean,
Yeah.
Tim's done. I had to eat human flesh last adventure with Tim, so
That's
it can't.
tame.
So it can't.
Well,
You've never been in one of Bones's nightmares.
Yeah, true. But
Yeah.
that's,
Come on, who hasn't eaten human flesh?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's old
exactly.
news.
Amateur
That's
hour
so
over here.
old news.
We love a little long pork around these parts.
Long pork. The long pork. But no,
dear.
that's my end game is to is not to bring TTRPGs onto my channel because that's just not what I want to do on there. I
Right.
want to run games for my friends, be featured on their channels, and just run these quick little hard and fast and loose indie RPGs that are easy to pick up for first time players and easy to write for.
Well, I won't go into the details of the conversation that Bones and I had sitting down at the bar, but you're the reason why I'm going this direction with the guest DMs, right? We were sitting down and talking, and you
I
said
remember.
some things to me, and I said, that's a brilliant idea,
Very
Bones, so let's
smart.
run with it. So,
He is
that
brutal.
was where it kind of started, and I really appreciate you bringing that to me.
Impregnating your mind with the brainworms.
But we're gonna have. We're gonna have a gam. It's not just D&D, everyone. Wait till you see. Bones is too far out for. I got all the banners done for all of April. We'll show you what unbelievable content we got coming up at the end. So, yep. Anyone else with that one?
My biggest thing is to finish my campaign this year, which if everything goes on schedule, it'll be wrapping up by the end of October, despite Bones's protests. And I think another big thing is just doing a lot of collaborations. I have a lot of collaborations with other DMs coming up, specifically like Bleak and Kurt, that I'm very excited about. So I'm just really looking forward to sort of picking the brains of people who I admire in this space, and working with them.
Awesome. Darling, Ashley?
I think for me, really this year, I'm gonna focus on doing a lot of mini series. I'm kind of stepping away from long form campaigns. We've done, I think, 3 long form campaigns on my channel now. And I want to get into more like between 4 and 6 episode miniseries and highlighting different DMs that I respect, that I love, and that I think deserve a good audience, a big audience. So bringing people in like Bones to do some more stuff on my channel. We're getting ready to start up another mini series in the next week or so with Bleak. Been talking to Kurt about doing more stuff with him. He just ran the Morkborg 2-parter on my channel. So just kind of showcasing more DMs because it's really hard to produce and DM at the same time. So I really like to bring outside DMs into my channel and produce for them. And getting to play more games, different kinds of games that I haven't gotten to play. Like we just did Morkborg. That was the first time I've ever done Morkborg. This game that's coming up is going to be using the Old Gods of Appalachia system. I've never used that system before. So it's just kind of sticking my hands in all the pots and seeing what I like.
What do you think, Ashley? I know you got something you're rolling with now.
Yeah, I'm working on a mini campaign. That's gonna go through the end of May, and then I take the summer off so I can actually get out in the lake.
Awesome.
Because Minnesota summers are so short. We just, like you don't get out and you miss them. So once winter begins to set in again, hopefully people will have liked this mini campaign so much. I'll do a second section of it. There's like a long goal and a short goal, and we'll just see how far they get. and possibly doing like some streams at different conventions
Mm-hmm.
that I will attend. Like I just attended GaryCon, which is my first GaryCon ever, and just so many like possibilities that came out of that. I got to play Shadow Dark briefly
Oh,
with the creator of Shadow Dark, which
yeah.
was so cool. Just having moments like that, it was really fun, and there's opportunities to do lots of things.
There is, and that's so I think we all came out, and I know you're gonna have experiences at GaryCon, so I don't want to go there because I know you're gonna have a 3-hour show on that coming up. But post GaryCon, I think we all came out of it feeling good. Correct? Feeling really good about where we all are. So
Really good. Yes.
okay, all channels. Anyone who's got a channel on there, tell me if you think like Folk and Kurt and Dave. Tell me if I think we all have a really good positive feel. We got to continue with that with a positive momentum. So um, I'm hopeful, very hopeful this year. Uh, Anna or one of the ladies here, would you like to ask a question with the rest of the group, or if not, I'll open up to the community.
I
Anna,
was thinking one
go for
thing,
it.
any part of when you start DM, part of a rule system, something that you're missing that you felt like you needed to add, meaning an aspect to it, meaning house ruling and stuff. Do you go with it as, do you choose like a whole different genre instead of tweaking, or do you say, oh, I want to have more rules for whatever you might want to be, meaning crunchier combat, more rules for social role play? Do you want to have like rules for debate or trying to mentally control someone or whatever it is? Meaning, do you feel like you want to go in there and say, oh, I want to change this, I want to add some missing piece of the game that you can identify that you saw that weren't there? For me, for example, when I started running game, there were no rules for outdoor adventuring. I needed to exploration rules and what happens when you see someone from a distance and chase someone over land and stuff like that. So I started home brewing a lot from that perspective originally.
I've added insanity rules to some of my characters before.
Great.
Just,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
oh, your
Yep.
your god is
Yeah,
going insane.
Yep.
good
Well,
one, good
that's
one.
gotta
Mm-hmm.
affect you somehow.
Yep. Yep.
If you're gonna use, like, for example, necromantic spells and they're not
Mm-hmm.
really smiled upon in the world, that's gotta have some kind of ramifications.
Yep.
So
You
why
wanted to
not?
quantify it or put it into the mechanics a little bit, so you can roll on the table and see how the inhabitants of the town reacts when the necromancer starts firing off something. Or yeah. Mm-hmm. Great points.
I've adjusted. I have a couple of house homebrew rules just for my 5e campaign, flanking and everything like that. I
Mm-hmm.
have it where if the enemy is engaged in combat with someone else, doesn't matter what angle you're attacking them at, that's going to be advantage. And then
Mm-hmm.
I also have a
Yep.
homebrew rule for advantage where advantages stack. So you get
Yep.
your initial advantages
Cool.
and then you get a +2 for every advantage.
Yep.
And that also goes the same way with disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
And then like
Same.
the very common ones of drinking a health potion is a bonus action,
Yep.
administering one is a full action,
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Yep. Great
I guess you
ideas.
could
Yeah.
say that Jay has been a little bit of an inspirational DM for me. Because I definitely have stolen your house rules, some of them for my games,
Mm-hmm.
specifically my home games. I really, really love the way that you do group initiative.
Thank you.
I use that in all of my home games for
Speed it
sure.
up. Speed the game up.
Speed it up. Yeah, I
Yep.
don't want to sit
Yep.
here, listen, all your initiatives that you got, blah, blah,
Yep.
blah.
Mm-hmm.
No, normally
Yep.
how I do it is we do a group initiative and then I just call out people as it makes sense to call
Yep.
them out
Mm-hmm.
depending on where they are. So
Yep.
yeah, for sure. Like it's really just a convenience thing. If I find something or if someone brings something up, they're like, oh, how's this ruled? And I don't necessarily know. I just kind of make a decision there on the fly
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't matter that much as long as you're having fun.
So,
Yep.
Yeah.
no,
I
Okay.
really like the Powered by Apocalypse system. The way they do where your enemy isn't fighting you, isn't rolling or anything. It's them, it's your roll or your pull of the card that decides if you get hit or not. And I like that good popcorn initiative. Because I don't want anybody to take too long. Same deal. So
Yeah.
just pass it along.
So there's no reason like you can't rip off rules from anywhere. If you all know me, I've stolen so much from World of Warcraft. Right? Taunt. My fighters can taunt. My fighters can demoralizing and battle shout now. Stuff that I was like, why isn't this in the original 1E2E game? So I mean, you could just everyday things. You're like, man, I think that would be a good idea in my game. Pull it in, right?
Yep.
And then it sticks. And play
I
test.
started inventing rules for bards in battle. They can do really amazing stuff. And my first inspiration was I had like I was thinking humanoid bards. So I had hobgoblin bards. They're the drummer band, so they have big drums and stuff. And they can give as a lot of good conditions and stuff, temporary hit points or whatever. And I used the level up as an embryo of that system. I developed that on so you have like a band of hobgoblin battle bards and when they can start giving magic to a bunch of them, and because bards can normally only give one a touch, and these they pull up and they can give like 100 hobgoblin warriors a lot of bonuses so you need to a silence spell. It's not good for them, but that they can really drum up there like the Scottish Highlander playing the bagpipes or something. That was kind of my motto for it. So now I'm trying to find the right music and Spotify to play. So that was kind of my idea. So I was trying to think, what the heck would a bunch of hobgoblin battle bards sound like? So that was my idea to so
That's
so
awesome,
I'm
man.
playing along, and that I will write that into my house rules. So there will be a bunch of hymns and stuff that I call them hymns, that songs they can play, that they can do different stuff, so they can learn and stuff, and they can collaborate on things. So the more and the powerful, so you can have a whole band, they can do cool stuff at a range too. So that, but those are mostly for NPCs, not so much for PCs. But I want the PCs and NPCs to play by the same rules. That's why I wanted to have it in there, so to speak, and so the enemy can do it. So my first test would be the hobgoblin battle bards. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I came across your zombie goats during Tower of God.
Oh
guys,
yes,
so-
yep. Mm-hmm. The first, my first. There's the first.
You brought the
stats.
goats in.
Yes, I bought, and I studied them up for first edition too. So
That's
different-
awesome.
Yeah, different
so they-
levels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
It was-
The three different one. The only one that was really trouble was the ram. That was cost a little bit of a trouble. The other ones you kind of dealt with very quickly, but the ram was a little bit tougher. He's a 3-hit die monster, so he survived a little bit, and he can gore too, so he can be a little bit tough. Yeah.
Well, Curtis went AFK for a second, so I'm not going to bust his stones about dying in that
Mhm.
game. So we'll pass on that.
Oh,
All right. So Dan,
Thank you, Overchord, for I'm going to look up Albanach. Awesome. Yep.
oh my
mhm.
gosh. Yeah, that's
Yep.
it. Give Anna more inspiration on
Oh
killer
yes,
crazy
that's
stuff.
awesome.
That's wonderful.
I love it. So yep.
Dave,
Lung is great inspiration for that. So
Dave from
thank
Guild
you.
Superior has a great question. I'm going to add to it. So let's discuss or talk about one of your favorite NPCs you have in your camp in one of your games or campaign. And my add to that is, do you have a repeating antithesis, which would be an evil NPC, or maybe a good one if you're running an evil campaign? So just want to know about that person too. Who wants to discuss?
So my favorite NPC to play is Bones' character's best friend, Vadium. And he's just this very flamboyant man who has a lot of secrets in his closet, but he just very much says what's on his mind. And the party is very divided about him.
Awesome.
Most of
just a
them do not
guy.
like him, but Olenya loves him.
He's my
So they
best friend.
tolerate him. And the bad guy is actually also connected to Olenya. It's her patron because she's a warlock. So
Nice.
she has she made a deal with someone who she doesn't really know who it is.
Cool.
But he's-
Amateur mistake.
He's smoking hot though, so it's okay.
Smoking hot. His comeliness is like a 20.
So wait, so you're all using comeliness now? Yes.
No,
Old school.
I'm just
No.
Oh. I was like, Zinger, first edition Unearthed Arcana.
Yeah.
Yeah, smoking hot. That's it. The word smoking hot, Dave.
He's smoking hot.
And
though.
D&D
Smoking hot.
go hand in hand a lot. So that's awesome. Great one. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Creep.
No, go for it.
I think the fan favorite of Spaces Between was Babushka.
Okay.
Everybody loved Babushka. Babushka is a little old lady who walks around with a little shopping cart and a bell on it. She does not speak any English. She only speaks Russian. And in order to communicate with the party, she used Morse code with her. It's like a bicycle bell, going
Cool.
bring, 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 bring. And when I wrote Babushka, I laughed for like every word. I was just sitting there laughing at myself alone in my office. So much so that my husband was like, "What the hell are you doing in here?"
Just like the dude in Breaking Bad, if you watch that. Ding,
Yes.
ding, 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 ding,
Yes,
the bell.
yes, that was the inspiration.
Yeah.
That was the inspiration was that.
Perfect.
But she's just this, she is like chaotic good type NPC. She keeps like AKs and like Unshankas in her cart, along with many tins of cat food. So the game was ran through a grocery store. So she's in the cat food aisle just shoveling cat food into her cart, and she's like trying to like warn everybody like, hey, some like freaky stuff's going down. Nobody would go talk to her for like the longest time, and I'm like, hey,
Right.
maybe you should go talk to her. She's kind of important.
Sometimes you gotta lead the players by the nose.
I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Ashley?
In my current campaign, I am personally loving the grandmother entity who is now speaking to my party through dead things. So last episode, she possessed the severed head of a pig in a butcher shop and had a little conversation with my party that only they could hear. And just watching my players slowly lose it was wonderful.
That's brilliant.
Quick question, Ashley. How do I get in on this game? Because that's amazing.
That
Talk
is
to
cool.
me off stream.
That's the thing. A lot off GaryCon too. A lot of cross community playing and collaborating, which is wonderful. And Darling, I think you're last on this one.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite NPCs is actually from the first game I ever DM'd on stream, which was Homeward Hounds. I did an homage to kind of like Homeward Bound vibe, but we raised a bunch of money for a senior dog charity on that stream, and my main NPC was Ladybird, who was actually I think she was just a human girl, but she was actually a dog. A dog turned into a human. So the whole time she had all these like little dog mannerisms of being distracted or sniffing people. And I think it took a minute for the players to figure out that she was like a dog turned into a human. But that was a really fun character to play. I don't know if anyone's ever watched Wilford before, but I was very, very heavily inspired by Wilford. I love that show. And I think one of my favorite like enemies has to be the Night Hag from that Jay came and played for that game, and it was super fun and ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
That was a good time.
I'm complaining about 5th edition rules the whole time. I'm like,
You did. You were complaining a lot, but you know, that's
how does
That's
the
why you
lightning
play
bolt
ahead.
hit everyone except your own people? When I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'm done. Zip, and then yeah, but it was fun. It was a great time. It was
Hags
awesome.
are fantastic kind of monster. They're
Hag.
Hags and
useful.
witches.
Yep.
I
had
personally identify with a hag, so
Yeah, it was.
What's up,
I had
Jeff?
a magic shop that they had that was run by a night hag and had an anise as a bouncer.
that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah,
That,
well, thank you.
that was
That's
that
cool.
was so much fun. So if you didn't pay or if they liked you too much, you ended up to be part of the components. So there was many ways
Beautiful.
out. Yep.
I love that.
And there were a bunch of
Wonderful.
goblins that ran. They had a special place. They were the ones halfway there. They had a they were living. They had a little sign up so they could lure people who they could. They were the ones that told her that the customers were on the way, and they had little signs so they could point the sign in whatever direction she dictated, so to speak. So they went in there and they whispered in a little magic thing, and she told them to show them in whatever direction. But the problem was that the characters went in and they butchered the goblins, so she got really pissed. So
Oh no.
so they got on off on the wrong the wrong turn, so to speak. So
That's giving me
yeah, that was a quite of an adventure they had. It was a lot of fun. It
that's
was
giving me
actually
like Jareth and the goblins from Labyrinth vibes.
yeah. And she was actually the garden master for Black Splinter near Devon, and he's a vampire. He's like a necromancer vampire, about 16th, 17th level. And they had a black dragon that lived. That was theirs. So the characters had to deal with that because the night hag and the hags got really pissy. So they went and told the dragon, like, "Oh, you killed our friends over there. That gives you treats. So now you need to go on the." So that turned out a lot of fun. So we had several sessions of a lot of fun around Black Splinter. We never made it to the castle though because the players gave up and ran off before we got that far.
Brett, thank you so very much. Tier 3 sub re-up. That's really kind of you.
Yep.
Thank you, Brett.
So hags are wonderful creatures to have in as a DM. I love them. Need to
Very
invent a few more types though. Yeah.
I would like to honorable mention an NPC from the Tomb of Horrors game that I ran, who I did not anticipate having to make an NPC for, and that is Clile, the skeleton that Creep's character reanimated.
He was so amazing.
Do the voice. Yeah.
The entire time.
God, I love Clile so much. Best boy Clile.
He did his best.
That's the best. Just spur of the moments, and they become memorable and repeat.
And he set off like 2 traps. He was great.
He pretends
What a guy.
He does.
Yeah.
Poor
Sometimes
Clile.
Yeah, the NPCs we never think would even make it or be something more. I had one little NPC that was like a 0 level, had like 4 hit points or something, and I gave him the name Bent because I didn't know any better, so I just put in Bent. He's now kind of a co-character in the campaign. He's one of the most important NPCs, and I never thought he would. And he was so much fun. He saved the day, and all of a sudden he was the hero of the battle, and he turned out so much fun. So he's now a reserve character, so to speak. So sometimes things that just happened during the session turned out really, really well.
Yeah, sometimes the characters that you think, oh, everybody's gonna love this. They're really gonna, interact with this character. They're gonna get all this info from this character and get attached to them. And they're like, who's that? And then you create these joke characters sometimes.
Yep. And they
just want them.
Yep. Or even worse, they don't even ask. They just bag them from the back. You can spend 6 hours of working on the backstory, and they killed it without even asking anything. They just go in there and get like a backstab and do maximum damage crit, and that was it. So then they don't ask them anything.
For real.
Yep, that happened many times. Well, I have Bakunis. He was one of the master villains in my campaign. They killed him off the second session, and 4 rounds and he was gone. So that was it.
Wow.
That's when his cousin with a rhyming name shows up.
Yes, or his identical brother, or he gets cloned.
Well, he escaped into his book, so I'm kind of working on trying to ease him back in somehow. We'll see. I'm working on it, so I'm scaring the players with it so far. We'll see.
Great stuff. My advice, if I may give it, is create the anti-hero NPC, which is actually on the party side, but is a real douchebag. Sorry for using that term. Or just a jerk. Like Fritz Winchester, which Curtis plays now all the time at the cons. And my players hate him with a passion. Or Gilthanus Markham, another one. Or Michael Baton, right, Anna? Who everyone hates. The most despised character in the entire campaign. So create those anti-heroes. Jeff's like Fritz. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And obnoxious NPCs are really useful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that are difficult and especially bureaucrats. I had a part of my Rel Devon campaign, they wanted to have a talk with the prince, And in order to have an audience with Crandon, they had to first, just to get through to his court, they had to be able to recite all his titles and stuff. And it took like 6 sessions to go around and make sure that they had all his list of titles and they can spell that out properly and say it without stumbling and stuff like that. And that was, so they had to write it down and get it right. And when they didn't get it right, then there was some scribe that was trying to do it, and they were almost murdering the guy when he was like, "Oh, you have to do this," and they were so impatient. So they were a couple of players. They were just looking for something to kill. So everybody in town was in danger of being butchered because they were like, oh, they had itchy axey fingers or sword fingers for those sessions. But that turned out, for me, it was a lot of fun. And it was kind of Kafkaesque when they were going looking for all the titles and figure out, and then the word spread, oh, they're looking for titles, and people show up and had all sorts of titles to give them, and they realize, no, we need to vet these people, so we can't just take it for granted. So that was a lot of fun. And you had that snobbish sergeant at arms that was standing there, whose only job was to vet people so they knew what they could present themselves properly. Yeah, the doorman, and that was his only job, and he took it very seriously. So, yeah.
I had a NPC in my home game with my local ladies who was a merchant, and he went by Goldfingers, and he was very, very bougie, but had the softest hands in all the land, and they tormented that man. And they had so much fun with him because he was just a regular schmegula human guy who just happened to be very handsome, very well dressed. He had like all the gold on his fingers and knew nothing of magic or anything like that. And so they were trying to protect him at one point and cast like a shield bubble on him, about scared him half to death, like just not realizing we had a cleric that came at him to try and help him and save him from some people. And she had cast thaumaturgy and had her eyes glowing red and was like making all these sounds to like scare everything else, but was just horrifying this poor NPC. And they just dragged him along for like half of the story, and he's just kicking and screaming, basically, like, please just let me go. Like, I feel like I'm being held hostage. Y'all just let me go. And they're like, no, we did. It's fine. Don't worry. We're protected. Yeah, I have a family.
It sounds like a smidgen of that is in your Wild Mage in my campaign.
Yes. It's a fun archetype to play as.
Very cool. All right, so any of you want to ask anyone else each a question? If not, I have another one, and then we'll go to the audience.
I think I have a question.
Please, go for it.
If you could run any kind of campaign, genre, setting, rule set, what would, like, your dream campaign, what would it be?
Good question.
Because mine is a, like, space horror, likely using either the Mothership or the Alien rules.
Okay.
So, fun fact about Creep is I've been writing for a very, very long time. And I have, Bones knows this, I have about 20 years of vampire lore written in the vaults of my hard drives. And I would love to run a vampire game that is all based on my vampire lore. But that means I would have to come up with a system, because the system for that does not exist. But I have vampire lore that I've built from the ground up.
Nice.
That I would love to turn that into a campaign and run a long term with some of my close writer friends, that some of them know the world.
So the characters will play vampires even in this, or would they go up against
it would be
vampires?
everyone would be vampires. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
the Vampire the Masquerade setting, but
Like Vampire the Masquerade setting, but a little bit different, because I don't really do the clans and everything like that. The vampire lore that I always clung to from my childhood was Anne Rice, and I like them as these very solitary, brooding beings that eternity is daunting. It's scary. It's alone. So something a little bit darker, a little bit more tragic, which is normally what I lean into really hard. That's what I like in storytelling.
Mine's a weird answer. And I think some of the ladies here will certainly understand what I want out of this is liminal space meets Miami Vice meets like absurdist horror. That's what I want. I want the neon lights. I want
You want
weird
some 80s in it
I
too.
want like weird 80s cop drama with like eldritch
Yes.
horror. That's what I want. I want people to deal with horrific things while also going to like Miami clubs in the
Mhm.
80s with like white
You want a
suit
cooler version of
jackets.
Stranger Things.
Yeah, yeah, I want an
Yeah,
adult version of Stranger
So-
Things.
Yeah,
So-
meaning
Yeah.
something, more seedy, more kind of
Yes.
grittier. Yeah.
You're
Very gritty,
you're
yes.
close
Yeah.
to the Shadowrun game in that. Almost.
Yeah.
Almost, but with more horror aspect to it.
And I
So,
want more,
yeah, that's
and I
cool.
want liminal spaces in
Yeah.
like completely like
Yeah.
shoved into that because
Yeah.
nothing is more satisfying to me than sitting in a lonely like laundromat at 2 a.m. That is like that's everything I need in life.
Mhm.
If that damn Blade 2 movie didn't suck so bad, you'd have it. Oh my gosh, I just love that feeling of. I heard they're going to start remaking them, so I love that crossover. Um, that would be perfect, with that horror genre in modern day or whatever, times, just with the neon.
Yeah,
That'd be
and
great.
I want Biff Malibu to be your number one like best friend for anybody who had the misfortune of running
Biff.
into Biff Malibu at Gary Con.
What do you think, Ashley? How about your?
I don't know. Every time I have an idea, I just do it.
Good.
So I've kind of been on a kick of an oops all, campaign. So my 3-shot was an oops all kobolds, which was extremely fun and silly, and we had like skunk spraying battles, and live cricket eatings, and now we're on to oops all warlocks. So everybody likes the necromantic characters, but really you can only have one per party ish. Most of the time they're like, oh, we can't all be warlocks, or like, oh, I don't want to because they're too evil and the townspeople won't like you. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna force all of them to do what they really want to do. So the only one that I kind of was thinking about is maybe, like a oops all goblins kind of thing coming up, which I could do. uh, and I like to do stuff that is a little bit comic. It's a little bit more like Ash versus Evil Dead kind of things,
Campy.
where if
Little
yeah,
campy.
a little campy. Like
Yeah,
things
that's
are
cool.
dark and the world is dark, but I want my players to be cracking jokes and having
Yeah.
a good time.
That's awesome. I love that. You got to have a little bit of commentary here and there just to lighten things up once or twice while you're trying to kill them. So,
Yeah, right.
all right, I got a question, and we're going to open it up. Something you've learned in the last year or whatever. You're not doing that in your game. I'm not doing this. It could be a rule. It could be a style. I am not dealing with this. Screw it. Yeah, Darling already said I'm going to group initiative instead of individual, but there may be something else. Something you've learned from DMing. You're like, this is stupid. I'm not doing it anymore.
Bad attitude players.
Good.
Bad attitude players. I'm not gonna sit in a video call or a Zoom call or a Discord call with somebody who's going to sit there and be completely silent and not partake in the fun, right? And somebody who is going to maliciously go after other players because of whatever mood they're in. I won't have it.
Awesome.
I just won't, point blank, period. I think it's a lesson that everybody learns in life. You put out what you get. And if you put out bad, you're going to get bad in return. That's it. And I won't have it ever.
I think something to add to that is people who can't distinguish themselves from their characters.
Absolutely.
What?
I know we've all ran into that person. We've all played with that person when they cannot separate
Mhm.
reality versus fiction. That's a
Well,
hard
yeah.
person to play with because
Yeah.
then you can't have moments where like you riff off their character or you get in an argument with their character because they take it really personally, and it's like, we're all here to have fun. This is not real. It's not real. None of this is real. It's fine.
Well, especially with women, and everybody knows that I love a romance. I love romance in a game.
Mhm.
Smooching.
But I'm also an extremely married person, right? And because I have a romance between two characters, you cannot cross that line. You cannot. And because then it becomes a safety issue. And then
Yeah.
I have to tell my husband, and he's going to get really mad at you.
Mhm.
Hundred
Is that
percent.
easier or more difficult when you play virtually online? Is that this kind of when you have a virtual barrier, can you be more kind, or is it equally difficult,
I
or
think
is it?
it's equally difficult. I think it's
Yeah.
easier in person because my husband's a huge dude, right?
Yeah. So yeah, if he's
Yeah,
there, so then yeah, then that makes it a lot easier in that sense. So yeah.
right.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
it's infinitely easier if it's with a woman. If it's a woman
Yeah.
and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
romancing two
Mhm.
characters with them, that line never gets crossed,
Yeah.
right? And that doesn't matter what like orientation you are. It's just there's something with safety there that I think we
Yeah.
just inherently understand between each other.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, that's difficult. I've had a few
yeah,
times back in the
yeah.
day when
Oh,
that
sure.
became an issue, and
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to tell them that this was only make believe, there was
Yeah.
nothing, and
Yeah.
and so on. And I'm sorry. Yet I always feel a little bit guilty when
I
something like
know
this kind of get
that's the empath in you,
yeah.
but
Mhm.
that's something
Yep.
that we're conditioned like, oh, it's our
Oh yeah.
fault or we should feel
Yeah, we
bad.
always my
Right.
yeah. So that can be tricky, so to
It
speak.
can.
So yeah.
It
Mhm.
can.
Yep.
Wow.
I think playing online enables it to go a little further
Yes.
Yeah, I
sometimes
agree on that.
There's an
because
anonymity.
you can DM that person, you
Exactly.
know,
You can just you can
mhm.
get out yourself. You can just say end it, whatever. So yeah,
Yep.
because that makes to me it makes it easier in that
Oh
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Because
yeah.
if you're at a convention or something like that happen, then you might have to bump into that person again, or if it happens at home or whatever, then or at
Right.
someone else's home, then you have to engage even after the game, at least to some degree. You might be friends
Right.
or part of the same
Social
circle of
circle.
gaming friends
Yeah,
and stuff.
sure.
So yeah, so it can be a lot trickier.
Yeah.
That's easier, I think, to play online. But on the
Yeah.
other hand, it's easier to get into the trouble online too, because you
Yes.
get the barrier is also slight of a filter that you can interpret things more widely when it's virtual. Then you, if you can
Mhm.
look each other in the eye, you can kind of see earlier
Especially if you're not
Yeah.
on cameras,
yeah,
if you're just in
yeah,
a voice
mhm,
chat
Yeah.
doing
exactly
it,
that, yeah,
they
mhm,
Oh
body
yeah.
language is
yeah,
makes
yeah.
up for a
Huge.
lot. So
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
And that's
Yeah.
another thing that I've had issues lately is with people that have bad technology, meaning they don't want to be on webcam. They have crappy audio and their internet connection is kind of so bad often that it doesn't work. And sometimes I get it. Technology is difficult, it's expensive, and you live in an area where you don't have good internet and stuff. But it's really tricky to and it takes so much energy when you run a game that you have players that have constant technical issues time and time again.
Well,
Mhm.
That sucks energy out of a game, so to speak.
we had Jason
Yeah.
Zavoda, Anna, who could never stay connected,
Exactly. That was,
and
yeah, he had
but
a
that was
Wi-Fi
on talk
connection.
shows. But that's
Yeah.
something, yeah.
But during game is even worse because then you never get into that kind
No,
of
no,
because you need a sort of flow. At least I need to. You need to have
Yeah.
sort of flow and connection with the players. And if you have that technical barrier, then that goes away, so to speak.
Are
Yeah.
you like inviting people on desert islands, Anna? Because I mean, it's
I,
like
I'm well. Sometimes I've had players that have
okay,
had
wow,
issues, so to speak. Yeah, and also not so much when I've been running games, but when I've been playing with others,
oh
then
jeez,
it's been more. I've had a difficulty engaging with others because their technology have been really bad, and they also have like a TV in the background, and you have the sound that kind of goes in circles
yeah,
and so on. So yeah,
yeah.
it's difficult at times.
Wow,
So there's a
Yeah.
that's the backside of I think playing virtually. The good side is that you can use a lot of technology. Computers can add visually, and you can share things and use maps, and virtual tabletops and stuff are awesome tools that I think I want to use them even when I play games around the table these days because they're really good to use, so to speak. But then the downside is that not everybody can use them or have the ability to use them at all times. So yeah.
so anyone
Especially
else?
technology.
Yeah,
Yep.
anyone else? Something you have learned you're just not doing anymore as a game master or DM?
It's sort of stemming off of what Bone said, putting my foot down. Um, if I make a ruling, I made a ruling. Don't try and argue with me about it, especially on stream. Do not argue with me on stream because it's not going to end well for you. I hate that. I've been backseat of watching arguments happen on stream for rulings, and it's just so awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And also putting my foot down when it comes to interactions between my players. You have to be an advocate for your players. And I am very fiercely protective of my female players in particular. If they are at all uncomfortable at any moment, I'm not going to tolerate that.
Yep. Good.
So yeah, I just, especially because a lot of my female players are my best friends, and I'm protective of them regardless. And we want to foster like a space where people feel comfortable. And if you're bringing the bad, musty vibes and making people feel uncomfortable, you got to get the fuck out.
Got it.
Big time.
Yeah.
So,
Big time.
so Myriad, get like I have a no emote when like your people start arguing with you, and I got the put it out there. No, just no, it's over. Discussion's ended, right? But then my guys still argue with me because they're 50s.
Well, I think you like it a little bit.
Oh yeah. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about my 55-year-old friends who were, I've been playing with since I was a little kid. So
I think
Well,
you
that's
like it a
because
little
you
bit.
guys have been playing together since you were little kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
right.
I think and I think that like with Myriad said is as being an advocate for your players, as somebody who plays a lot of different games, that's always huge to me. And like, so my character obviously in Myriad's campaign has 2 different romances going on. And she's NPCing them. I trust Myriad explicitly with my feelings and her feelings and a boundary there. Don't mind us like hugging up on each other all throughout GaryCon. Don't mind that part of it, but you know what I mean. But there's a boundary there, and she respects me as a person. I respect her as a person. In order to have that successful storytelling, in that regard, it has to, that trust is integral.
I would say a really important thing is to get consent from the players before you start some kind of a dramatic confrontation.
Yeah.
If you want to like start a romance or like start fighting about a worldview online, like make sure you had that conversation before that session to say, I would like to do this. Are you okay with that? Or, I mean, how would you know unless you asked? Maybe they don't want to talk about that. Maybe they're glossing over that part of their character. Maybe their husband or boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't want them to have a faux romance online, and that makes them very uncomfortable.
Yep.
You got to ask, and then oftentimes have a way out of it. Like just a concept of it.
Yeah.
I did Renaissance Festival for 24 years, and we created bits a lot for street theater. And you have to have your intro, your middle, and then an end. Like you have to have an out. So how are you going to get out or resolve this issue if it's, a confrontation?
Yep. And if somebody if 2 players come together and one says, well, I think that we should have a confrontation about this, have a DM be a DM that your players are comfortable telling you. That's huge. That's huge. Because as somebody who's played a hell of a lot more games than I've DM'd, because I've only done 1 and 1 coming up. I won't play at a table that I don't feel comfortable telling my DM, hey, this person's making me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just a quick question, darling. What's your heads up for cutoff? 8:40?
Yeah, somewhere around there. That should be
All right,
fine.
Cool. All right, I got a couple questions from the audience here. I'm gonna merge one together. How do you deal with a first time individual who wants to play in your game? Like, what's the vetting? And have you ever had the issue of the couples play where they're together, both playing, and I know that can lead to an interesting dynamic sometimes. So those are the two questions merged into one there.
Couples can be both fun and also very desperately or difficult. I've had a lot of couples that can riff off each other because they know each other so well, and that leads to fantastic interaction. But I've also played when there's been couples who bring their domestic squabbles into the
Oh,
game,
God.
and it becomes really tedious after a while, so to speak. So I've seen both. There's a duality to it. It can be fantastic to have two players that know each other so well, and they can riff off fantastic, but it can also be very tedious to hear when they start yelling at each other in a voice that it's probably not make believe anymore.
I think in terms of like the couple thing, because I haven't had that, although my husband is in my campaign. But I feel like there's a different dynamic there with me as the DM and him as a player, rather having two players be a couple. Very much just making that clear. Like, just like this is not going to be tolerated. Like, if you guys bring your outside issues, and goes for like the entire table, if you guys bring your outside issues into the table, you can't do that because it's going to ruin the experience for everyone. If you're unable to do that, maybe this table's not the right one for you. And then in terms of new players, like I would welcome like a first time player to my table. I think all it really takes is someone who is willing to learn and having like an open mind. And I would be glad to like have a new player at my table because I feel like a lot of the times we have new players come into the hobby and they get discouraged because there's going to be DMs out there who don't have that kind of patience for a new player, who don't have the patience to sit down and teach them the rules or help them build their first character or kind of walk them through things, especially like when they take so long in combat or something like that. And what we need is more people in the hobby, and to just actively discourage that. It's just a really shitty thing to do.
I love first timers at the table. Maybe not for stream. I feel like that's a different setting, but in my home games, one of the home games I was running, it was all ladies and we played in the cemetery by my house. It was super fun. And
That's cool.
all of them except for one of the girls, it was their first time playing D&D. And I will have all the patience for you in the world if you really want to come do this and play. And first time players can come up with some crazy shit because they don't know the rules yet. So like, can I do this? And I'm like, we'll figure out a way you can do it.
Let's
Sure.
find out.
Yeah, so I think that first time players can be a lot of fun. They bring that new fresh energy to a game, and I love that. I feed off that. So definitely fun. In terms of couples, I've never had to deal with that as a DM. But I could see that being taxing at points.
Anyone else want to take that one up?
I'm in a really lucky position. So as like a little baby DM, I am not confident, I think, in having new players come in unless they're specifically playing the system that I'm learning and running. I'm in a very fortunate position to have a lot of really talented friends who for some reason really want to play in my games because they're crazy and they like being punished. So I have a selection. I can go to any of the ladies, I can go to any of my friends and be like, hey, do you want to play in this weird game that I want to run? And they're gonna say yeah. So I think maybe at one point, yeah, I'll probably be really excited to have new players come in, especially if they want to learn these like weird little niche RPGs that I get off of itch. But as far as married couples go, Married and Joel can play. That's fine. That's my married couple there.
I haven't had any married couples or dating couples be in my games either. I just tend to ask people that I think are fun, that will reliably show up, that'll be respectful in my games, and it just hasn't happened yet.
That's great to hear.
The worst case is that was when I was a player in organized play, and they've been running, and they were so focused on having the best characters and stuff. So they were like mechanics discussions, and they were super nerds, both of them, and they continued discussions they had from home, so to speak. So it was at first it was kind of cute, and after a while it was like, no, this is too much. and so on. So, but it was kind of they're both we decided we all played too much, but they probably played even more too much than the rest of us had. So yeah.
All right, so Anna or anyone else on the panel want to ask anyone else a question? Please do. I'm going to get some more from the audience because we're kind of caught up before, but I could ask one as I always have a bunch. Any of you would any of you like to? That was a great, Mary. That was a great previous question you asked too. That was fantastic. Really appreciate all the questions.
I just want to quick say, agree with Darling and say that having new player in the campaign is fantastic because they bring that new energy. It's a new sensation. So I would definitely recommend that in every game group that should be someone who's never played before. That's a great addition to have. Because otherwise, if you only had jaded players that have seen everything or seen a lot, they are so hard to. They could be hard. They try to meta game you. The new players never do that. They're like, oh, this is awesome, and they kind of when they can see that there's many layers in this onion, so to speak, and they can see the fantastic stuff in it, and that enthusiasm can spread.
Ulfgar, that one may be like I don't know. We'll see. Do any of you have like a phrase or out of pocket quote that a character or NPC says all the time that you find charming or annoying? That's a tough one, I think, Ulfgar. That question.
Say it, Myriad. I know you've got one.
It's I don't remember the exact quote, but it does have to do with Olenya on a ship with some pirates. Olenya being Bones's courtesan character. She made a lot of money that night, is all I'm gonna say.
Okay. All right.
It was a good game. It was a good session.
It's a good session.
There's a cawing involved, I believe.
So we got one. I have 1,000 quotes, but I won't. This is not about my guys. So, Touch of Evil asks, just out of curiosity, where do you meet with a new player group? Now, because everyone's a live streamer here, I think 99% of the time it's online, right? Which is a safety. I don't bring new people that I don't know to my house. You think I don't want my wife throwing me out of the house again. Just kidding.
Just tell them to meet you at the cemetery.
Yeah.
It'll weed the week out real fast. Trust me.
Yeah.
It'll cull the herd.
At night.
Everyone who shows up as a keeper.
Yeah.
But when they show up and you're under a big tree with a blanket and you have a speaker suspended above you and like drinks and snacks, they're like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah. Tell them to bring a shovel too. So
there you go. Even better.
And duct tape. Oh my God.
Shovel and duct tape, baby.
Oh my gosh.
That's like a dream to me, is to play in a cemetery under a tree with some drinks and snacks. Are you kidding me?
It was awesome. It was so much fun. The girls loved it. It's very quiet there. No one bothers you. No one's hanging out in the cemetery.
I never played in the cemetery, but I played in old dungeons, so to speak, in old medieval palaces, so to speak.
That's cool.
Dungeons. Yeah, that was
super cool.
Yeah, and way out in old castle ruin that we had a few miles from where I grew up. That we played in that one too at night. Yeah,
cool.
Okay, I have a question now.
Go for it.
I have a question for everyone. What would be your like dream place to host a D&D game?
For me, that will be to rent a castle in. I think there is a town in southern France on the border to France, Carcassonne. There's some awesome castles and stuff there. I bet they have suites and rooms that you can rent for weddings and stuff for events. And that will be super, super cool because that's so fantasy. There is a place in an old medieval, I would say a fortified mansion in western Sweden, not far from where I grew up, called Torpastenhus. That one, we played in that one, and that is kind of cool. It's not a medieval castle, it's kind of a fortified mansion that is with arrow slits and stuff like that, built in the 1100s. So it is inside, it looks like, oh, this is so cool, like a fantasy. But outside, it doesn't have the castle vibes, so to speak. But maybe, yeah, southern a French castle, a Romanian castle, maybe, or something. Would
Jeff.
that for me would be
That would be cool.
that would
Playing like
be
a
awesome.
Ravenloft
Thanks,
game
Chef.
in a
Yeah,
Romanian
mhm.
castle.
Yeah.
Yes, girl.
For me, this is like I don't even know like the logistics of how this would work, but the catacombs in Paris.
Oh,
I
Oh
know
my
there's a lot of room to
god,
be-
yes.
You're gonna be
Think of
moving a
all-
lot.
Think of
Yeah.
all the teeth.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, the
Teeth.
teeth. Oh my gosh. But you
Um,
like taking teeth from kills, not from dead things.
and from friends,
Oh my gosh.
if they're willing.
Cool.
Tower of
think-
London will be cool too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So
But
the
the
tower,
tower- yeah.
it's eerie there though.
Mhm.
There's some
Yeah.
bad energy there.
It's true.
But it's the cool thing with Carcassonne and stuff. They are not in a modern city. You can look outside, and there's also the town of Visby in Sweden from the medieval city walls and stuff. There, that it looks medieval. You can look out, and there's hardly no modern buildings or anything. So you have these places that are more kind of pristine fantasy. There's probably some castle ruins in Scotland that will be perfect for something like that too.
Cool.
A lot of mosquitoes and stuff in the summer though. That's the
All
problem.
those
Yep.
swampy lands.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I think mine's kind of an off the cuff answer, but I think for my vibe, it's very obvious that like an empty school, like high school lunchroom.
Mhm.
That would be like with the lights, like those fluorescent yellowy lights kind of
That flickers like the
yeah,
mhm.
absolutely. With the tables with the chairs already attached to them, so nobody has to worry about finding a seat. You already got them there. And a very cold milk to drink. That
Mhm.
is like ideal
Ooh, glass
situation.
milk.
2 glasses of
I
milk.
thought for a second, Bones, you were gonna say Eastern
Mhm.
State Penitentiary in Philly. If you've ever
Oh,
that'd be really
man.
cool.
Or really, this is my
Yeah.
real jam is the Frontier Prison in Wyoming.
Yeah.
That is such a cool prison. It's so underrated. 10 out of 10, but really like an empty like high school lunchroom, I think, and playing some like liminal RPGs and
Oh my
getting
gosh.
really weird with it.
We all have our horrible memories from high school that we
Yes.
Yeah, but then we
Yeah.
can go back and
Cleanse.
cool kids.
Mhm. We can do something about it. Yep.
Oh
I actually my
gosh.
my sophomore, junior, and senior year, I never ate lunch in the classroom because I didn't have any friends. So I just ate lunch in
Oh,
my
it
French
sucks.
teacher's classroom. No, it's great. I got a free baguette a day, basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, my French teacher loved me, so he was like,
Perks.
"Yeah, you can come sit in lunch for here." So it was rock and roll, baby.
Everyone else want to take that up?
I mean, the ambiance is really cool, but I would far more prefer to have like a full setup of like really beautiful terrain and map, like 3D
Mhm.
maps and figures, than to be like, oh, it's beautiful outside. If somebody else would make all that stuff and I could just put it down and like, oh, here it is, guys, our 15 level castle in sections.
Yeah.
So
know,
aren't
like,
you
that would be
describing my
really
basement,
cool.
Ashley?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I've never been in your basement.
Oh my god. Well, that's true. Anna has.
Oh yeah.
Anna has. Vamp is,
Yep.
and Robert Hartley and
Mhm.
AJ are coming in August. So yes.
If you're theater of the mind, then you should go there. Or if you're someone who loves to have your game table and stuff, then have the J set up is the best thing, so to speak. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we got some unbelievable stuff coming this year too, and we can discuss that at a future time.
Yep.
So for me, this is gonna sound corny. Behind the glass at Gary Con for everyone to walk by in the club in the chop house on Saturday. That was my pinnacle so far to date. I had
Mhm.
Ed Greenwood and Tony and Chuck and Anna and
That was a great game.
thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, this is the. Too bad it was hard to stream it because of the interference, but
But the setup was gorgeous.
that
there.
was the pinnacle for
Yep.
me to date. So
Mhm.
it was awesome. Great question though, really good question. So I know Darling's going to go in like a few minutes to get set up for her stream.
Mhm.
So let's ask this. You've all come a great way so far, and I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this. What is like, and I said that what the future for this year is, but like, where do you want to be like in 5 years? Like for example, Darling should be a Twitch partner by then, right? Let's say hopefully this year, right?
That's the goal.
Yeah. Okay. So give us some goals, writing or publishing, some long-term goals. Who wants to go?
Writing and publishing for like Game Informer, PC magazine, things like that. And still telling really amazing stories with my friends. Being able to play in these really great RPGs and being able to write horrible little characters and horrible situations and let my friends play in them and play in them with my friends is more than a girl can ask for. And in 5 years' time, I want to keep doing that, and I want to keep doing it with more people and with more women, and really sink my teeth into these underground RPGs that don't get a whole lot of limelight, and see where we can go with them, and
Great.
just keep telling stories. Yeah.
Darling, you can say that again. It's okay.
I mean, for me, obviously, partner is a big deal, and I see that on the horizon sooner than later. But 5 years, it's actually something I was talking about last night with Myriad. We were kind of back and forth on that, and I was chatting about some of the goals that I'd like to hit. One of those things is eventually I would like to see myself moving away from commission painter and into teaching others how to paint. And I think another big thing for me, and this is kind of a new thing that's been popping up in my head, is to maybe write my own game and make my own miniatures with that game and kind of marry the two sides of my brand together.
So learning ZBrush or whatever and start throwing out STLs like Christine Van Patten does.
No, so someone will sculpt for me. I will paint them.
Okay.
If there's something that the people who watch me regularly know, I fucking hate sculpting. I hate it so much. I hate it when I have to do it. I just like to paint. Sculpting is not my place. But being able to come up with a design with a sculptor and have my own game that features minis. And maybe that's that 20-year vampire lore that I finally put to work that my husband's been driving me crazy about for the past 10 years. Like, when you gonna do something with that?
Wow.
So maybe that's that. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Did you all know that Darling has a mini that Christine did? A lot of people don't know it.
I
Right.
do.
Yeah.
She's
Wow.
beautiful too.
Yeah.
She's so cool.
Yeah, definitely. So.
Jay, I am going to go ahead
See ya.
and drop, but
Yep.
I will see everyone very soon.
Absolutely. I'll raid in, then I'll take some time to get my post stream stuff done, then I'll come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take your time.
All right,
Jump
cool.
in when you're
See ya.
ready.
All
It's
right, sounds
very
good.
Yep.
casual. All
Sounds
right.
good. All right.
Bye,
See you in a bit.
guys.
Myriad and Minnesota Muse. How about an answer to that long term?
I don't know. Kind of in the shorter long term, I was thinking I could probably turn some of my adventures into modules because my notes are so detailed.
That's
They're
great.
practically already written.
It's fantastic. I mean, with 5e, it being able to be published on, just as long as it's not Greyhawk, you can strip Greyhawk out of it. You can publish it on DM's Guild.
Yeah, I don't have Greyhawk in either of the campaigns I've streamed so far.
Perfect. Nothing wrong with that. Good.
I think that I would love to publish my setting for All We've Lost down the line, as just like a world setting for people to use and use freely. And I think I also I think it'd be really cool to get like invited to guest DM at like cons and things like that. That would be like a pretty lofty goal for me to like get like an invite. But yeah, I really want to get into delve into a little bit more of the writing side, and do some publishing, maybe even some zine work, things like that. I have a past with zines on the art side of things, but not so much the actual writing and publishing. So I would be very interested to sort of delve into that and come up with little like one shots and little tiny modules, to just kind of start to sink my teeth into that.
I don't think that's a lofty goal, being invited to guest DM for you. I don't think that's a lofty goal at all. I think you're an excellent DM. I think you're an excellent writer.
I'll cry right now.
Do it. No, you won't.
Group hug.
No, you are. Listen, I've played with you long enough at this point. I've read most of your writing at this point. I think that is not a lofty goal. I think that is a very attainable, very realistic, very soon to happen goal for you. 100%.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't cry.
Don't cry.
You're supposed to make her cry.
Yeah.
He's getting turned around on me. I don't know what
I
is
know.
happening.
It's all by my own design.
So with that, I already got to deal with Bones. We're gonna have last weekend in May, correct? Was that it?
Yes, it's May 25th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. At 5:00
yep.
p.m. EDT.
Yep.
So I'm inviting all four of you, including Darling, to guest DM on my channel this year at some point, because I am opening it up to the community, right? So all four, yeah, please. We can schedule a date and time. I already had 3 set: William Henry Dvorak, Curtis Cable, and Bones so far. So usually on a Saturday morning, or if we can do it on a Saturday evening, schedule permitting, that's when I usually do the special game. So just please put that in your pocket, and we can discuss offline. And yeah. So, final question. Advice to other women DMs. Throw out some tidbits of advice, please, if you would.
Do no harm, but take no shit.
Yeah, just get to it. Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Don't let anybody tell you that you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Or that it's not for you, or that your writing's not good enough, your whatever's not good enough. Just do it.
There's so many modules these days that you can take. Just try it. You know, get some people together, tell them that you're nervous about it, and to be kind to you, and just run it and see what they say. And if that one wasn't good, try again.
Yep.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Your head?
Yeah, I think do no harm and take no shit is pretty all encompassing. This is gonna sound a little misandrist of me, but there are so many mediocre men in this hobby who make a very good living. And are getting constantly pushing down the women and non-binary folks in this hobby to make room for themselves when there's room for everyone at the table. And I think sometimes it's up to you to make room for yourself at that table. And if you have to do it kicking and screaming, do it kicking and screaming. Put up a stink. It's fine.
Absolutely.
Somebody will play for you. And if not, then I'll play for you. It's fine.
Some great advice from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so very much. Anything you'd like to say final? And we'll do some shout outs in a second for you all. But is there anything else you'd all like to say?
I just want to say great audience. Awesome panel. I love you guys. It's awesome to hear all the wonderful stories and stuff, and have a chance to hang out with you at GaryCon and hopefully play more with you in the future. So yeah.
Who's going to be there next year?
Put your hand up, Ashley.
Oh yes, both of them. Yeah.
I would hope so, Ashley. Yeah. I would certainly hope so.
Yeah.
All of you should host games at GaryCon. I think it would be awesome.
I will. That's my we talked about what I will do in 5 years, and that's one of the things that I want to do. In 5 years, I want to run games routinely at conventions. I want to have my own established house rule system. I want to have my own mobile setup that I can have with me in a suitcase that I can put at a table and run games and have it set up so it will be easy to run it, and I can augment it and stuff like that. So to have like a good laptop with 3 little screens and stuff like that, so I can have like a mini version of the setup I have at home, and with all the rules and all my maps and all of that cool stuff. And I want to be able to have like a mobile setup and do that routinely several times a year, so to speak, both online and then go to conventions and do it. That's where I want to be in 5 years.
And it's been VIP invited to the con I was at last year, Page, which is in Philly, First,
Yep.
second weekend in January. It kicks off the year. So
Yep.
hopefully you'll be DMing there, Anna.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've done enough seminars. I mean, I love doing the Greyhawk seminar every year.
Oh, I love to do
It takes
seminars. I
away
would
f-
definitely do them, but I
Yeah.
want to do
Yeah.
some gaming as well, so to speak. And I want to have,
Yeah.
but I want to have my setup so I can do it my way. Otherwise, I
Mhm.
feel half lost, so to speak. So I
Right.
want to be able to do it, and I want to have my house rule system so I can kind of give the players heads up. These are the rules and so on. And it's a version of 5e, nothing fancy. In some ways, it's simple but deep, or flavorful rather. Simple and flavorful. That's how I want my rules to be.
Fantastic.
I would love to host a panel at some point at GaryCon on indie RPGs. I think that's
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
something that's such a
Yeah.
brand for me, and so
Yep.
such a big passion of mine that I would love
Yeah.
to see some RPG makers in the indie
You
world
should
come and talk.
dig into it. Yep.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a good question there, K. James. But for me, I have 20 color-coded binders of spells and custom rules. So like when you do customized rules, I mean it's like all over the place. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
put out my house rules in small increments on my Patreon blog, and they will all be
Right.
published in PDF, and they will be on my website. So you look it up all, and they will
that's awesome.
Creative Commons that you can use them and tweak them and so on. So they will be freely available to use. I don't think they will ever go in print, but they will be available, so to speak. But they're in the making. So I put out. These are the things I'm thinking about. Sensors. Now I'm coming with the next is teleportation and stuff like that. I'm tweaking those rules a little bit too. So I will put them out bit by bit and then play test them in the next upcoming year, so to speak. They are being play tested in my campaign, but it's a little bit so and so because some players are like, "Oh, this is cool new rules." Some like, "Oh, yeah, I want vanilla 5e period." So it's because they didn't sign up for this. This is something I kind of keep changing the rules on them, and I know it's not really recommendable. So
No,
well,
I
yeah.
disagree, Anna. You need to
Well,
constantly
kind
play
of, but then
test.
they need to be signed up for it. But you've had your players so long that they have basically
Plus,
signed it up
and,
for as long.
and
So yeah.
cons too. They know they're getting my 1E2E, and I'm going to throw a
Oh,
curveball.
exactly. That's what the thing. But I need to have it a little bit more prepped and play tested, so to speak. So
Okay.
yeah. But it's a little bit been a little bit back and forth. But I'm starting to. I know where I
Okay.
want to be, so to speak, and I'm starting to. The goal is starting to appear now. So now it's more like starting to fine tune things. So yeah.
All right, let's do some shout outs as to what you're all doing coming up. So, Bones, you want to start us off?
Yeah. So over on my channel, as you guys know, it's just a bunch of indie games. This coming week I've got a really busy schedule. So Monday I'm off, but Tuesday we jump back into our 7 Days to Die game, Wishlist Wednesday, of course, every Wednesday. And Thursdays I'm working on my own video game. So if you want to come hang out and watch a development of a video game, that is a liminal horror and a log horror game. Check that out. And then All We've Lost, and then Old Gods of Appalachia, and over on Creep's channel. So make sure you guys check out Creep and Myriad, their channels to watch me not cry not once in any TTRPGs.
Are you two going to cry during the wedding?
No, I won't cry. I will. I'm telling you, if anybody can make me cry in a TTRPG,
But
I
you're
will.
supposed to cry at weddings. Yeah.
I won't do it.
Um,
I will
It just
buy you a
means that
gift.
Kazara's love is truer.
They can't.
Maybe.
Ralish's worshippers don't cry.
Yeah.
Right, so like
Yeah.
they're not crying, you know. Now that the Venerian Vord, Eric Mona's character, has converted them over, which is crazy. So
Is it that crazy, Jay, for us to be converted
No,
over?
I love it.
Is
I
it that
love
crazy?
it. I love it. Just
Not that far of a stretch, I think.
be careful. Be careful what you're all wishing for.
Listen, I'm just telling you,
I'm gonna put you through the ringer on this.
it's gonna be so much fun. It's
Look
gonna
at,
be fun.
I mean, this is one of my favorite picks of the con. I mean,
I
seriously.
know, me too.
It was you
First
two
of all,
holding hands down. I mean, I just love
so
this
cool.
picture from with Eric, and Eric was just brilliant. Everyone was brilliant
Oh my
during this
God.
game. It was awesome.
I'm not to surprise my favorite event from the con was Eric Mona telling Creep, talking about me. She's crazy.
Yeah.
That's my to get Eric Mona to tell me that I'm crazy is like that's like life's goals. right there. It's Chef's Kiss right there.
Yeah. What
yeah,
an
so
awesome game. Yeah, there you are,
that's what
Sithy.
I'm
You're in that
doing.
picture too. I'm glad you jumped in last second because we had a drop and Sithy got in the game, which was awesome.
Yes.
So yeah, it was really awesome. So
Yeah.
well, good.
Mhm.
Normally I pick between you or Darling to raid into on Thursday night, so we'll continue that. And
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to all the great things you're going to be doing this year, and we'll
Yeah.
talk in a second about coming up in
Mhm.
May. So,
Yep.
Myriad, what do you got going on?
We've got the season 3 premiere of All We've Lost on Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And then I have some other games coming up that start in May. We're doing a D&D 5e module that I found on itch called Pink Moon. It's very retro wave. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm really excited about that. And then we got some other stuff coming up in the future that I can't quite talk about yet.
Nice.
But yeah, we're doing TTRPG stuff. And if I'm not actively running a game, I'm usually doing art for a game or just doing around in the video game.
Okay. If my special game with Nuclear Meat goes till 1 on Saturday, if it runs late and you are on, I'll raid into you. All right, but that's an hour gap. But if we run late and you get on early, it may work.
Mhm.
So very cool. Awesome. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Ashley.
Hey
Minnesota
everybody, I'm
Muse, sorry.
Ashley, also called Minnesota Muse.
Sorry.
And you can find me on Guild Superior's Twitch channel. We have Tuesday nights, Heroes of Greyhawk, where I play a very problematic character who's quite silly. And that is 7:30 p.m. CST. And then on Thursdays, I DM a campaign, The Undying Sky, which is my Oops All Warlocks campaign. So come on by. That's
Nice.
at 7 p.m. CST.
Thank you so very much for coming on. But we're going to see you again very shortly. Very, very shortly on the channel, which is fantastic. So let's do some shout outs here. What's going on? Is Anna? So Anna, I know we normally. Are you going to be doing map making on Friday again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before then, I will even on Tuesday. I plan to run my seminar. I was supposed to run that Friday on my normal stream, so to speak. But I think I'm going to run the seminar I had at GaryCon. I'm going to run it on my Twitch channel
What time?
on Tuesday at 7 Eastern. So
7
5
Eastern,
PM.
so 4
Yeah.
Pacific. Okay.
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. So and there's no blue box on, guys. So I think Guild Superior comes on after that, so that's a good time. You could raid into them afterwards.
I was hoping that I wouldn't intrude
No,
on
I think that's
anybody
a good
else's
7.
time
I
slot.
think that's
So
a good
yeah.
time slot because you guys start at 9, right?
Mhm.
Ashley, 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Tuesdays.
On Tuesdays we start at 7:30 Central.
All right, so
that
it's
would be
8:30. So
8:30.
that works.
Okay, good.
That
Then I
works.
don't. Yeah, because I don't want to step on anyone's toe there. So I was
that works
hoping that I
perfectly.
could, yep, tie in good there. So yeah, so I will run in and I will see. I hope I can post some more stuff before, but at least all the slides and stuff will be available on my Patreon blog for everybody, so you can see them full resolution as well, and come and ask questions and stuff. So that will be a 2.5, whatever, roughly 2 hours, because that's how long I ran it during the
crossover. That's okay.
Exactly. So yeah, so and then people come in and ask questions and stuff. So that, and then we have Legends and Lore, and then we'll hopefully do a mapping stream on Sit and Work as usual on Friday.
So if you count your Tuesday and Friday, we have content every day next week except Monday. So let's talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Nice.
Wednesday night. We didn't get to
my
this.
voice is a bit better on Tuesday too, but we'll
hey, I did last Wednesday with no voice. So
well, you ran games at GaryCon with barely no voice.
Yeah, true.
I can't complain.
So these publications that we showed at the con, I barely got to them last Wednesday. So we're going to share these. And I've invited Les, I've invited Troy, I've invited Lee, and I've invited Norker all on for all these here that we have. And this is,
and several of these will come to my website. There's a couple of updates that need to be done. First, I was at ill, and then they've discovered, Troy and I discovered a couple of things that need to be fixed, so on. So they're coming very, very soon to my website. The Lakovka stuff. Yep.
So that's Wednesday. Thursday, we finish the Narwhal Headhunters and Overreach. So something's going on, and Narwhal, and they fought a bunch of human bandits, and now they have found a fortress with a bunch of bugbears in them. But what is they believe the Baron himself of Narwhal is plotting against the headhunters to cause trouble. What is the connect? There's a connector somewhere. I haven't found it yet. Oh, whoa, whoa, Anna, you're gonna love what I'm doing because you love this whole thing of me with Lord Mastrine. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't say anything else.
Okay, cool.
Boom.
Yep.
So you know where I'm going with that, Anna.
Yeah, I have some ideas.
Yes, you do. Saturday morning, back to nuclear meat. All right.
Hey.
Now, this is our so the first special of the month. The Order is calling. The Order of Ulick is calling this group because they're all good. Not like our Ralashaz people, but like, just kidding. So Bird, Coco, Dave from Guild Superior is back playing Emron as Ranger. Korg the Mighty playing his dysfunctional dual class monk. And Justine said that's his favorite group. So we're gonna be playing Saturday morning 9. That's our first special. Gets a little better on Sunday night. Well, it does it. I don't know. So Ed Greenwood's on Sunday night next week for a discussion. Factions and organizations of the Realms on Sunday. Yep. So just keeping it rolling. But that's not it. That's only the first week of April. Here's other special events coming up. I think I may have one more. 2 more. There you go, Ashley. You're back on there. So Lost Secrets of the Rushmores, Saturday morning at 10, not 9, at 10, because I feel bad for Will. All right, because he's 2-hour difference in Mountain Time Zone. So that is Saturday morning at 10 on the 13th. So all playing halflings. If you don't have Will's Will a While book, you can get it. It's free. So Will's DMing for Minnesota Muse, the ever mysterious Tim, Antiquitous, and myself. So there are the 4 players that are going to be in that game. Yeah, Armin, this is going to be cool. So this is our first of the guest DM spots this year. First of many to come. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, and we're too far out, Bones, for a banner still. Number 2, this is a special GM event on Saturday, April 27th at 10. Curtis Cable is going to run Champions Superheroes for myself, Brett, Coco, and Bird. So, yes. I have Rocket's Red Glare as my character. Of course, he's an arrogant SOB, just so it fits me perfectly, I guess. So, yep, we're gonna do a Champions game. See how that goes. We're gonna, like I said, I will. Any kind of content on the channel is open now. Within reason, of course, as we're trying to get the community all together and trying to build everyone up. And that will be the last banner. But then Bones' game, and please, Bones, talk about this for Saturday, the 25th, 5 p.m. Eastern. Yes.
So we are going to be running through a game called The Spaces Between. That is the system. Spaces Between is an indie RPG focused on liminal horror and non-survival. Players are not meant to live. Not everybody is supposed to live through this game, and I probably went really easy on the last time I ran it on my players then. We are talking about nightmarish things that happen in a real world. So we take a mundane thing, right? So in this case, an arcade. An arcade, relatively normal place to be at any point in time, no matter what era we're looking at in the last of modern history. And you make it horrible. You make it unsettling. You cross the veil into something unreal and unrealistic. And that is what The Spaces Between is. This is a 3-hour game max. So an easy game to learn. It is not a dice system. It is a card system. So with playing cards, and very easy to learn, very easy to play, very rules loosey-goosey. I don't like a crunchy game unless I'm playing first edition. So I like the crunch of first edition. We've talked about this before. I like AD&D for that. That is my purpose with AD&D.
You also love shooting a melee combat as much as
I do. Absolutely. But with Spaces Between, it's a really easy game to learn how to DM, and that's how I learned how to DM, was running this game. There's not a whole lot of rules to it. I think so it's not a GM or a DM, it's an administrator. The administrator manual is maybe 4 pages long. Okay. Very easy to learn. And the way I run these games and the way I write the whole scenario myself, there's no modules for it. So you're writing your own module. So I write the whole module myself, and I write it based off of real nightmares that I have. That is something that I've struggled with for a long time. So what I do is I take all of those horrible things and I make my players deal with it. And that's the way I cope with that. So it should be a great time. Don't worry about it, Jay. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Hey,
Don't worry about it.
You slaughter me, it's all good, right?
That's kind of the goal, but no, the goal's not really to TPK you guys, but it is. I mean, let's be realistic. It's a deadly game.
I want you to DM for me, DM GM for me. That's what I'm looking forward to. So the cast will be Myriad, Darling, me, and probably the ever mysterious Tim, which is really disturbing. Because he'll fit right in on this, because
Yes, he will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and it's gonna be a really great time, and I hope you guys tune in to watch it. I'm just a little baby DM, so I'm just kind of stumbling my way through this. That's another nice thing about the system as well, is it's easy to make a mistake and cover up the mistake. You don't really notice it as much.
Sure.
So
Sounds like the little evil doll DM here.
So before we do giveaway, I'm asking everyone to stay on. I want to go in and raid the Darling over 100. All right, so let's hold. So I have dates open, but before my vacation, the second week of June. So both Myriad and Ashley and Darling, let's see if we can, if you have a time frame sometimes in there and you want to DM on the channel, we can make that work. So it's exclamation point drawing, Ulfgar, not giveaway. Actually, it's always the same, exclamation drawing, because if I change it, I'll have more wrong button errors. I didn't have any freaking wrong button errors tonight because I guess I didn't change too much, right? Didn't change it over too much. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you really had a good time discussing, because I think you're all fantastic and wonderful. I really do. I'm glad you're all my friends.
Thanks.
I really.
Oh,
Jay, you can't make me cry. It doesn't count. We're not in the game, okay?
I've been really emotional lately. You all know that.
Oh
I kind of had some issues.
Get it together, Jay.
Yeah, I've had I had some issues that I don't want to discuss on camera, but yeah. So yeah. But let's do the giveaway. Last call.
Oh, Jay.
Thanks. Thank you.
Giveaway.
Here we go. Who's going to win this? Who's going to win this? Great. I think there were $40, right? Something like that. So $40 value here. And plus they got these you look close at these and there's eyeballs inside. You're like, whoa, it's a little disturbing, but it's really neat. It's really neat.
I want those so bad.
Here we go. I'm gonna close it out. Are you ready? Here comes the winner. Thanks, Jeff. That was really kind of you. Winner is DM John D, which is a big viewer of the channel. Let me see if John's on. I don't see him on.
Uh-oh.
I don't see him on.
Still a chance.
I don't see
Someone
him
else?
on.
Yeah.
We'll give him 20 seconds. I don't see John on. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't see him on.
John, are you here?
I don't see him in chat. So I'm gonna roll again because I'm that kind of guy. The only people I don't. By the way, the only people that do not have to be on are tier 3 subs, because you can do whatever the hell you want if you're going to give me a tier 3 sub, right, Brett?
Fair enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
So there you go. All right. Next winner. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that is Astralar. Is Astralar on? I think so. Yeah,
I see them.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Just make sure you say. Yep.
Say something, Astralar.
Say something, Astralar.
Please.
Say something, or I'm going to go
proof
again.
of life.
Proof of life. Proof
Proof
of life.
Proof of life. Astralar, say something, damn it.
Do you know Astralar?
No.
Okay. Well,
I'm sure they're
I
great.
do now. Yeah, I'm sure they're awesome.
Right.
I'm gonna give him 20 seconds, and I'm gonna poke one more time because you got to be on. Yeah, I mean, this is 0 for 2.
Anyone's money.
Oh, that's Tony Winslow Brill's boyfriend. Oh my gosh. That's,
okay.
Glass.
That's
Okay, so he saved my ass. He's all right, so there you go.
Okay.
All right. No.
It's done.
All right, that's
deal
cool.
now. Okay.
That is cool. He is such a wonderful guy. He saved my butt during the game at the Chop House.
Yeah,
Helped me out
yeah.
with all the technical problems we were having. Really nice guy. So it's Jeremy, right? All right, I will allow that. Thanks, Glass, for saving saving that. So let's raid into. I got him. I will get his address and send that out.
I'm gonna pop out, Jay.
See ya.
Thank you
I'm
guys
also
so
See ya,
very
see ya,
much.
see ya.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Thank
All
you
right.
guys.
Yep,
It was awesome
see
talking to
ya.
you guys.
He deserves a dice,
Bye.
Jeff. He does. He does deserve it. He's one of the nicest guys in the world. He and Tony make a great couple. Absolutely. All right.
Yep.
See you all soon. Everyone have a good night. I hit a wrong. I finally hit a wrong button.
Oh,
I got you, Astro. I got you. I got you, Jeremy. I got you. All right. Let's raid into Darling.
awesome. I'm going to pop out because I need
Yeah, I
to
know you're going to go in
use
there
the-
too.
Yeah,
It's all good.
so exactly. So see you in a little bit.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Thank you so much. Awesome stream. Yeah.
Thanks, Anna. $92, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you on Wednesday night. Thank you for the support. 93.